Your doom is here. And I've pre-typed my announcement, and I have to hit enter like 4 times. Because Discord is like, hey, are you sure about the thing? Axe sliding in right at the last second. Yes, hello everybody. Dallas is...
I have open and doing laundry.
That's okay. Just, it's not past 9 o'clock yet, so you're right on time.
Cool.
Dallas said he was ready whenever, so hypothetically he will be joining us. Loth will be running late. He missed a bus. He'll be back later. But for now, we're here. Hi, how you doing, chat? By the way, before anybody asks, so today we are doing branded roundup and Therions, because there's a fuck ton of the branded cards that are actually important, all kind of like rapidly occur at the end of where we left off our story last time, with Aluber the Booper of Duper. Oh, hey, Phone Loth. When he invaded the Sword Soul Mountain. So there's a lot of stuff we got to cover that falls under the branded cards very rapidly. And then we're going to talk about Therions because, there's some other funny stuff here. That said, hey, have some updates about the stuff we talked about last time. In the intervening week, Valuable Book EX3 dropped and got translated. So we know more things now. For instance, last time we discussed the other Ice Jade creation, the one who was named after a fossil. Anyway, that is explicitly the body of Sword Soul Moye, who probably died. But she came back because Aegerdin was very angry, and so the two of them got angry together. So yeah, we learned that. And some other stuff that'll be useful for later. Clarified a lot of stuff that's coming up now, but not quite but still good to learn these things and see these things. And good to catch up. There's also a bunch of other fun little lore tidbits to cycle through. But yeah, so that was kind of open in the end. Oh, the Gold Saucer song will come later. Right now we're playing just the best of Elden Ring. Ha! Dallas missed. I saw it, Dallas. You fool! Haha!
Hello?
Yes, hi.
Have we started yet? Or...
Yes, we're live now. Streams
Hello?
at 9. Okay.
I gotta pull up the video. What are we doing this week again?
Branded stuff and then Therions, because we got a lot of branded cards to catch up with from that time that stuff happened.
I keep forgetting he's
Yes, the theater kids.
Because stuff be goopin'. Alright, so... Our first card in... Oh, that was a small preview. I literally had this bill pulled up big. Hold on. I don't always understand why and how computer decides to copy-paste. But yes, first we discuss Branded Disciple. Mostly for the card art. I don't know if anybody has ever played this card. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not very good.
I think I considered running it once, but I didn't.
It's not super great. Compared to other branded spell traps that were put out around this time, not the best. But we'll discuss why. However, art-wise, it's kind of important because here it is. There's a creepy purple portal. Aluber's coming out of it. He's showing off his wings like a scaly boy. And you can see, Albaz in his Albion, the Shrouded Dragon form, and, Virtuous Ecclesia with her hammer all fired up, ready to give him a what for. Spoilers. They do not give him a what for. But yeah, this is, when the Sword Souls...
Great.
When the Sword Souls and the Ice Jades are betrayed, Aluber pops out and is just like, hello! The reason why
Hello?
you've probably never heard of this card is, like I said, it's not super great. It's a continuous spell card. When a monster effect activated by your opponent resolves, if that opponent's monster has 0 attack or defense, and you control a level 8 or higher Fiend Fusion monster, you can negate that activated effect. At the end of a damage step, if a monster with monsters with 0 attack battled each other, you can destroy your opponent's battling monster. You can only use each effect once per turn. So it gives you a conditional negate of an activated effect if you control a big boy Despia fusion monster, and I think one of the dragons is also a fiend. But if you control a big high-level fiend...
bad, it's just not good.
Yeah, it's... I mean, both of these things in a vacuum are good. One, it gives you a way when you're playing with monsters with 0 attack to get rid of your opponent's monsters, because normally this is actually a thing that Konami had to clarify somewhere in the middle of the Master Rule revisions, but if two 0 attack monsters clash, they are not destroyed and nothing happens. It is not like how when you normally have the same attack, you crash, they just bounce off. So that can be useful.
I think the...
Good.
I think the biggest problem with that effect is that I don't think I've ever actually played the 0 attack monsters in Despia branded.
Yeah, it's...
'Cause
this card is a
I
band-aid for
of
problems
one.
that don't exist. Well, I mean, I think the idea is if you fuck up your Quiritis activation and you 0 out all your own monsters, which is a thing you can do. I have seen people incorrectly play Despia branded and do that. But you can also avoid that problem by just being better at Yu-Gi-Oh!
Reading?
Yes, by timing your activations correctly. Similarly, I also... Doesn't Quiritis' 0 out effect negate all monsters' effects anyway? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's very hard to 0 out your own board with Quiritis. I'm actually surprised you've seen it multiple times.
I have seen it at least once, and it stuck in my memory forever because it's one of those things where you think your opponent's got you beat, and then they do one dumb thing, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna remember this forever. You were a dumbass. You had this until you fucked it up.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty impressive fuck up.
But it is one that is hypothetically possible. So like I said, I can understand why this Band-Aid exists. It's just I don't think most branded Despia players really needed it.
Well, yeah, and also the most of the the 0-0 guy, who is the only 0 I've ever played in branded Despia. I can't even remember his name. I think I just call him Jester. I don't know if he actually has a name.
I mean, he has a name. They all have names.
Yeah,
but
you mainly just use him as fusion material from either your hand or the graveyard. Mostly the graveyard.
Yeah. Oh, and also, the other funny thing is that card-wise, Branded already had both a story-relevant and a way better continuous spell card we're going to look at right now. Branded Lost.
Yeah.
Showing the events happening immediately after Branded Disciple. Uber is like, ooh, dragon. Tasty snack. So yeah, just it's very simple and straightforward. Aluber lets loose his little abyss chains and starts slurping up Albaz's Dragonitude. Because remember, Albaz is still stuck as Albion the Shrouded Dragon. This is a much better card. It was in the structure deck, and it actually, does some important things. Number one, the activation of your cards in effect that include the fusion summon of a fusion monster cannot be negated. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when a monster is fusion summoned this way. If you fusion summon a fusion monster, add a Fallen of Albaz or a monster that mentions it from your deck to your hand. You can use this effect once per turn. So yeah, Branded Lost is just... makes all of your fusion spells super poly, basically. You cannot negate, you cannot respond to the activation of a card and effect that would include fusion summoning a fusion monster. And also, you get to add Albaz or a monster that mentions it from your deck to your hand to cycle. So this is a very good card. This is important. Also note, this is not Branded Lost. This is Branded Lost. I know, it's a little confusing. I think the funny thing is also you can tell that Konami knows that these two cards are not equal. In Master Duel, Branded Disciple is a normal. Branded Lost is a ultra rare. So they knew what the haps is, what the business is.
Honestly, even Branded Lost, while it's a good card, I would not put it in every build of a branded deck.
No, it probably depends on what you're doing. I mean, when it came out, because that was, with the structure deck, which is about a year ago, a little over a year ago now. It certainly was one of the better cards you could be playing, but yeah, it's a year on. It probably doesn't fit every version of the build, but still, it's a very solid card. It does things. And so, as we say, what happens to your boy?
It definitely goes in
Aluber.
most branded decks, or did go in most branded Despia decks.
Yeah.
I don't know the status of now.
Now, as a result, that means that your boy Aluber becomes Lubellion, the Searing Dragon. Rar.
Bar.
So yeah, he's a Rar. He's a dragon. I mean, looks pretty good. This obviously, like, because this is, you know, him taking the power of Albion, it makes sense, you know, he's kind of also flaming, but in a different way. I think you can see kind of the similar designs to keep Aluber's, like, details right. Like, it's got similar to his Jester mask and stuff on its horns and its head. It's got the big red wings. He's got a big red core, though, which is kind of new. Also, he has really articulated fingies, which I do not like. I am upset by his fingers that I can see.
They're not as bad.
I mean, they're not like...
They definitely still look reptilian.
They're not bad. It's just I'm disconcerted by the fact that he's got so many joints in there, and I'm just like, ugh. It's like that one meme from Adventure Time where the deer, like, takes off its two front hooves and steeples its fingers, and you just go, ugh. He's not supposed to do that. But yeah, no, it's a
I don't
dragon.
know, stuff
He's
like
flaming.
that doesn't bother me much, I guess.
You know, it wouldn't. Oh, Loth has the GIF, yeah. Whoosh, whoosh. Just unnatural. By the way, Lubellion's name in Japanese was Shin Enryu Ruberion. So Lubellion, the Divine Flame Dragon, they just went with Searing. Yeah, he's a big bonkless. So this is a Light Dragon Fusion level 8. Alright, what are you going to say, Dallas?
I say, on the scale of the branded dragons, Lubellion's always been, like, kind of in the middle for me.
I mean, here's the thing. Lubellion is almost literally never your final step. Like...
Oh, no, I just mean in terms of design.
Oh, design-wise? Yeah, he's just kind of okay. He's a dragon.
Like, spoiler, sorry for the Albaz fans. I'm almost entirely in favor of a lot of the Aluber designs over the Albaz designs.
What?
I think Mirror Jade looks stupid. But
Mirror Jade's a little oddly
this is definitely a very mid design for me.
Yeah, I would
There's
say it's
better,
a
there's
pretty average dragon. I mean, I like the color scheme of the interplay of you know, red, black, and kind of silver.
Yeah.
But it, I mean, I feel like much like its
calling back
actual
to-
card effect, it is a standby stage, right?
Yeah.
Albion.
Can you check my lore on this? Is Aluber related to or did anything with Titaniclad?
I mean, he is similar to, you know, he's supposed to be like the other half of Albaz, and Titaniclad was Albaz's first hymns, so probably.
Right, because this definitely looks like that kind of...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to reference both Titaniclad and probably, because that was Albaz's, like, first form, and then explicitly Albion, the fusion form, because that was all on fire. And that's the power that, you know, Aluber took from Albaz. Because, well, actually, no, let me finish my thought before I say what he does. I was going to say earlier, much like how in your actual board state, this guy is an extender, right? He is not the end of the play. I feel like his design is kind of the same way. Like, this is the gateway to something even biggerer and dragonier. Otherwise, he's just kind of chilling. But yeah, so Lubellion is a light dragon, level 8 fusion, 2500 attack, 3k defense. Which I do actually, I believe, are similar. Oh no, okay, it's funnily enough got the opposite stats to Mirror Jade is what it's got. Though that said, Dallas, I'm looking at the trivia page, and it does say that it has similar appearance to Titaniclad, and their names might be kind of like inverses, because Titaniclad has, ash in its name, and then obviously this is, Shinen, Godflame. So yeah, there's probably some deliberate parallels there. Its fusion materials are listed this way specifically, by the way. 1 Dark Monster plus Fallen of Albaz. So Albaz is name-checked, but he is technically listed second, which makes sense because, in this case, Aluber is the Dark Monster. If this card is fusion summoned, you can discard a card, fusion summon 1 level 8 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck, except Lubellion, by shuffling fusion materials mentioned on it into the deck from the monsters either on your field, graveyard, or face-up banished card. For the rest of this turn, this card can't attack, and you can't special summon except fusion monsters. You can use this effect of Lubellion once per turn. And yes, Lubellion's effect is fucking crazy. Like, there's almost
so good.
No way to stop Lubellion from doing the thing besides straight up having a negate when he activates this effect, or somehow running your opponent out of cards in hand, but that usually doesn't happen because every fucking, like, Despia branded card is like, and add this card back to hand, add a new card to your hand. Hell, literally...
The shuffle back banish fusion is so good.
And it's field, graveyard, or face-up banished cards, so, like, obviously the most common thing, and we'll talk about what dragon that makes later, but the most common thing is to use Lubellion himself as one of your materials and shuffle him back because he's just been summoned from the extra deck, which is important. It's how you make Mirror Jade as well. But, like, fucking, it's so easy, and it's the kind of thing where, like, I've talked about this, where once Lubellion is on the board and his effect activates, he is incredibly hard to stop. I have bounced Lubellion himself. I have popped Lubellions. It doesn't matter. You can shuffle this guy back into the extra deck. Doesn't matter. The effect's already procced. So it's tough, and often, obviously, if you are indeed negating, you probably want to negate the fusion spell that summons him first. But yeah,
you have to be very. You can negate his. You can fizzle the effect, but you have to be very exact with chain order.
Yeah, like I said,
usually you have to target Fallen of Albaz.
Yeah. I almost wonder if, like, the nature of Kashtira's thing, like, and interactions with Mind Hacker being a lot of face down banishes is supposed to be like a response to Lubellion. Like, was Konami thinking like, oh yeah, we made this Lubellion guy really strong. He just does the reverse with the banish zone. Is there something we should do about that? Should we make a mechanic about face down banishing?
They've always done face up banish stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
Generally.
There's a couple of other fusions that do that.
Like, Lubellion is probably just the... I can't say it's the best card that interacts with face-up banish cards, because there's probably some other cards,
it's definitely one of the more flexible... Because here's the thing, like, Parallel World Fusion has already existed for, like, 10 years at this point. Lubellion is basically a Parallel World but better. The problem is with Parallel World is I believe you can't have done any other special summoning that turn, and it only shuffles back from face-up banished.
And also, with how Hero Fusion decks work now, you don't actually need it anymore.
Yeah, no, you just don't bother. But, like, I think
there's very few that, like... I think the reason Albaz has this, or Branded Fusion has this generally, is because so many of the fusions name-check Albaz specifically.
Yeah. And the problem would be if you just banish all your Albazes, then you can't do anything with
I'm
them.
fucking stupid. No, it's definitely not the best card that interacts with face-up banish cards. I forgot Invocation and Alistair were cards.
Yeah, Invocation only cycles Alistair back from banish, but still, it's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, well, it's time to talk about another big one. So, Aluber becomes Lubellion, and Albaz becomes Mirror Jade, and then they fight, and this is Branded Fusion. And you may be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, the fusion spell depicts a battle? Yes. This is why this doesn't go very well. That said, this art's pretty good.
I love this art.
You got the fire and ice kind of swirling. It's nice.
I think it's my second favorite branded specific art.
Yeah, these two dragons are just gonna go at it.
And honestly,
you can
I'm
tell
gonna say this is the best Mirror Jade has ever looked. I don't like Mirror Jade's official art, but I kind of like the art of Mirror Jade in this art.
Yeah, he looks a little better in motion, and there's something about the deep purple like striations here that look really good. It has a really good color complement.
It makes him look more like Seath the Scaleless, but
well, listen, I'm playing Elden Ring music
no one
right now.
can
We know what's
convince me
up.
that is not the direct inspiration. It is uncanny.
I think I've said this before. I would not be shocked if a lot of the concepts for some of the early like Abyss storyline stuff are meant to be to Dark Souls and the like. Like there's a lot of stuff going on there, but you can tell it's a pretty tough battle.
Thing when.
Lubellion is losing chunks of his rocks there. It's a real fierce battle.
Mirror Jade is clearly stronger, and then Alubra just goes, "Wow, you're stronger than me. I'll take it."
Yeah, basically. So Branded Fusion, which is in a really funny place because currently in the TCG it's unlimited because Brandon's not doing that hot.
Card.
It's limited to 1 in the OCG and limit 2 in Master Duel. Though, to be fair, those cards are a little further behind in the brandedness cycle. But, I don't know for how much longer will we hit.
I don't agree. I'll say this. I think, and this is my opinion, the way that Master Duel has handled branded is the worst they have handled in archetypes banning in the entire set.
Yeah, it's pretty forced and kind of sad. I personally wonder if it's because, like, pull-wise, I think Konami has been very nice to Branded because not only have they done selection packs and shit, they literally made a whole new secret pack just for, like, core Albaz branded cards, which is crazy if you think about it.
The problem, in my opinion, though, is they keep banning engine cards, and all it does is muck with consistency.
Yeah.
Like, they banned, oh, we lose Loth? Okay.
No, he's probably switching to his computer.
Okay, but they banned Fusion, they've banned Aluber. What else have they banned?
Also, I would say, somebody said earlier that it's strange Lubellion's a light dragon. I don't actually think that's that strange because he's taking the power from Albaz's Albion form, which is also a light dragon. It makes sense.
Yeah, and I like the motif they have in the Abyss storyline where light does not mean good.
Yeah. But yeah, so...
In fact, you're more likely to be good if you're not. But what I was going to say is, I just wish they would hit, like... As someone who plays the deck, just hit Mirror Jade. Yeah, they've hit Branded Opening. Yeah, just hit Mirror Jade.
Well, and I think we'll be talking about Brand Expulsion today, but that's a card that's also been in the TCG. But that's a card they did straight up hit in Master Duel, but that's probably why, because the general consensus from most people is that's just not a fun card to play against.
Yeah, I'd argue for the most part, with very few matchup exceptions, it's not even a very fun card to play with.
Honestly, that's probably true. I don't know how many... I mean, like, obviously it's a card that people were using, otherwise it would never have been banned. But I don't really see a lot of players who play Branded complaining about it going. They're more just like, yeah, well, kind of figured.
Yeah, it's like Kashtira's entirety of, like, this just isn't a fun way to play.
But it gets wins.
Yeah, it answers stuff. And honestly, as long as they gut Kashtira when it comes in, I'm fine with it, because that's the main use of it, is just making Kashtira
Mind Hacker. Pre-ban.
I want them to ban Chandra-E when it comes out.
I mean, they won't do that. They won't ban a card that's new.
I know, but because they won't.
They'll probably start with like a Rise to 1 or something.
Rise Art should be at 1 if it's not.
But considering that they've done this a lot for shit like Toad and other stuff. Silva's about banned, for probably no other reason than people don't want to get, Dark World hand looped out of the game. But like, while Mind Hacker is an important card to making Kashtira kind of take off, it's not 100% essential. and it is certainly an old card that nobody otherwise gives a fuck about, and absolutely I could see him going. Which will be a shame for my Red Eyes deck, because that's one of the, like, four funny rank 7s you can make, but I'll take that loss. Oh, God, wait, is Galaxy Tomahawk still legal?
Yup.
Oh, can Kashira do something wrong with that? I'm sure they can.
Not really.
Okay,
Not
they
really.
can't really abuse it? All right, that's good at
No,
least.
'cause
I don't know.
I mean,
what the
they
fuck
could.
Tomahawk is still legal,
You
but
could
still.
turn. It could make like meme Galaxy Tomahawk decks better, but I don't think it will make Kashtira decks stronger.
Fair enough. Now, chat,
Like,
you
can
probably
use
know.
Kashtira as an engine to make T-Hawk.
Okay, let's hear. Chat, you probably know what the fuck Branded Fusion does, but in case you forgot, in case you've suppressed that memory, I'll remind you. Fusion summon a fusion monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz as material from your extra deck using 2 monsters from your hand, field, or deck as material. You can't special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters the turn you activate this card. You can only activate 1 per turn. This is basically just Red Eyes Fusion, but infinitely better. And
If you
I am
want my
ashamed that
honest
this
opinion-
exists, and not this is not what Red Eyes Fusion says.
If you want my honest opinion, this is the second. This is the best fusion card that is a normal spell, and the second best fusion. Well, third best fusion card.
I mean, this is
overall.
This is like peak 2020 type, design from Konami. They're like, what makes the fusion spell the best? Just send from deck or whatever.
I'm not sure if it's been mentioned at the time that I stepped away from the call, but honestly, because before I left, it is. The fusion is these two fighting. My only thought is, it's time to forge the Keyblade.
Yeah,
Aluber is just Vanitas.
He kind of is.
kind of.
I think he's the origin point instead, but that's all I think.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Nomura
Kingdom Hearts
intensifies
were
is what this is happening.
Very few people bother to actually try and understand what Kingdom Hearts is saying. Here's the thing: Kingdom Hearts has never lied to you, chat, except for when it does. Mostly characters lie to you. Xemnas is full of shit all the time. But
It just aggressively retcons itself continuously.
no, it doesn't. It's not a retcon. Everything's just true. There's no. This is the secret of Kingdom Hearts lore, everybody. I've discovered it by watching people be idiots about it on the internet. Kingdom Hearts is just really earnest, and a lot of people can't take that. When Sora's like, my friends are my power, he's being literal. Kingdom Hearts is light, it's literal. Everything is just, there's no, like, allegory here. Everything is just what it says it is, and that's not good for a lot of people.
You
It's
can
like what
sum
I've
up
said
Kingdom Hearts lore with that one clip of Dante's voice breaking from Devil May Cry 1.
I will fill your dark soul with light.
Yeah, basically.
I think that's the problem, that too many people are trying to, like, do an in-depth analysis, and I don't think Kingdom Hearts is meant to be understood that way. You're really not supposed to take any deeper reading.
It's meant to be like fairy tale logic, where it's just
Kingdom Hearts is
what's happening is what's telling you at the
Oh, I'm
moment.
so
and
sorry
because
for mentioning it, because I
inject it
put
all
these guys down a
makes it
rabbit
horrible.
hole.
Yeah.
No, I'll say I want to diss Kingdom Hearts one last time, and then I'm done. In my opinion, Kingdom Hearts' story is basically, if you take the subreddit "I'm 14 and this is deep" and personify it into a video game.
I mean, yeah, kind of. Like, I don't even think that's a dig. I think the game is, intentionally designed that way. But anyway, we do have a couple more spells to rifle through this. So, meanwhile, while Branded Fusion is happening, another bad thing is happening. It is Branded Loss. So basically, while Branded Fusion is happening in that giant fireball up there, out of the void hole, which is still open because we forgot to close it, pops, Evil Ashion.
Did you just mean Ashion?
I mean, yes, but he has a different name now that he's a Despia that I forgot because it's dumb, and he's dumb. And his fingernails are double dumb. No, that's the bad guy from Fire Emblem 9.
I'm well aware.
I'm sure you are, but
Sucks to your ass.
I feel like I have to say it. But yeah, so anyway, he's popping out with a couple of his, weird Iron Maiden Despia mobobs to kidnap Ecclesia, while that one Sword Soul monster nobody cares to remember is looking on like a doofus. He continues to do fucking nothing. What is even your job, huh, Auspicious Beast? Huh? You had one job and you failed.
Well,
Anyway.
his job was to see if people's souls are evil or good. It really
And he
was it.
fucked it up.
Hey, at least Rocky is doing something.
Yeah, Rocky's ready to rumble.
Rocky is trying.
He's trying.
doing his best.
He's a Dragon Skull right now. He really is doing his best. Anyway, so Branded Lost, not to be confused with Branded Lost once again, Target a monster your opponent controls that was special summoned from the extra deck and one fusion monster you control. Shuffle them into the decks. Also, during the end phase of this turn, each player can fusion summon one fusion monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz as material from their extra deck. You only activate Branded Lost once per turn. I don't see this one a lot, but I certainly see what it is good for. This is just a very, very funny card to pull off on your opponent.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I love the fact that it has a fusion effect because you can just see branded fusion happening in the background.
Yeah, no, I mean, basically what Lost does mechanically in the game is you switch back your Albaz fusion to push back your opponent's powerful monster to yeet them into the void, and then you summon back your fusion, and hypothetically, if your opponent is playing ideally, they get to summon back their fusion and you clash again. But that doesn't actually happen most of the time because unless you're in a mirror match.
It's kind of a meme in the best way.
Oh yeah, no, like it's a hilarious card. I love its text, but I also is like, is this worth running as in a slot in your deck?
I run it at 1 because it's funny.
Yeah, I mean
But
it's
I run
pretty
a lot of
eminently
the crap at
searchable.
1.
You know, it's a normal spell, so it's pretty.
I run
pretty easily
Expulsion at
searched.
1. I run what's the other one? I run Banishment at 1. I run a lot of the like niche stuff at 1.
Anyway, hey, speaking of which,
Lost is better than Lost. I'll say that.
yeah, not as funny, but more useful. Anyway, hey, speaking of, it's Branded Expulsion, because that's what happens next. This art depicts Albaz back to once again being a small boy with no shoes. Albaz feet pics confirmed. Being fucking shot out of Mirror
How old
Jade.
is Albaz?
Unknown? He doesn't remember? Aluber makes him seem like he's old, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I
but
appreciate-
what is it? How old is he drawn? That's the more important.
I mean,
Actually
Ecclesia's
caring
supposed to
about
be
anime
like
characters'
15 or
ages because
16?
They don't make sense.
I appreciate he's being ejected out of Ice Jade, but he's still holding on to a singular piece of ice.
Oh yeah,
No,
that'll come
okay,
back.
he looks like early 20s. He looks like Fenris. I keep forgetting that.
Ooh, solid comparison.
He's not as much of a twink as Fenris.
But he has the same general like aesthetic and
Yeah.
vibe.
Also, it's hard to out twink DA2 Fenris because that's just the direction they went with the art for elves. The twinkiest.
game is so gay.
Oh, it really is.
Like,
Listen,
that
Chad.
game
I will
is
not allow any
painfully
Dragon Age
gay.
2 slander in this house. I fucking think
No,
about
I
that
won't
game
either.
at
It's
5
my
a.m.
Okay. Controversial opinion. It's my favorite of the Dragon Ages.
Listen, the gameplay parts are kind of repetitive. I don't care because every time I get into a combat with random
Why?
bandits from the sky, Varric says something funny, and that's all I need.
Also, my party is usually Varric, Aveline, and Isabella, which is the funniest banter ever.
No, it's great. The writing on that game is top notch. 10 out of 10.
Heart problems.
But yeah, so this Branded Expulsion is Aluber eats Mirror Jade and Albaz is kicked the fuck out.
Yeah.
It's very simple, very straightforward. This card is banned in the TCG, but unlimited in the OCG. So I guess you can kind of like see where the two opinions lie.
What, and is it even out in Master Duel?
It is out in Master Duel. It is not actually banned yet. That will be the next ban update, which is in like a couple of days, I think.
Hey, here's a weird take. If we want to continue with the Souls-like stuff, Albaz's dirty feet, just like the what is it? The Lady in Demon Souls.
The Maiden
my
in Black.
God,
I mean,
Maiden
yeah,
Black.
but like, damn,
Dude, Lady in... Okay.
we're deep
Lady in
cut.
Black is probably my favorite of the Firekeeper XPs. I don't know what else to call it.
I made this joke because it's like a big joke that good old Miyazaki is just a foot person.
I mean, he's an openly a masochist that likes feet.
I mean, he makes
That's
you
fresh.
he makes you walk through poison swamps. So obviously,
No, it's
I blacked out and
the
the three
ma-
more
the main-
poison swamps.
Okay, listen, there's
The
a
ma- the
reason
Maiden in
why
Black's
the
pretty
char-
good.
Okay, listen.
Is
There's
this
a reason why
is
when
this-
your character gets hurt in Dark Souls that they moan.
Is this a hot take? Is this a hot take that I like all of the poison swamp levels except for one in the Souls games?
Which one is it?
probably
I don't like the one in 3.
That's
But
kind of,
nobody likes the
boring.
1 in 3.
which is kind of, it's a very big one, kind of. I don't know.
And was there one in 2? Oh yeah, 2 is the least bad one.
Yeah, DA2 has very mid gameplay, but yeah, it's
I
the
love
writing's
DA2.
great.
DA2 is my favorite DA. I'm
Yeah.
not apologizing.
Oh yeah,
well,
sorry.
depends on what you
was about to
define.
say
I was answering someone
DS2.
in chat. Depends on what someone's saying in gameplay. Like the conversation system is really great, and there's a lot of fun stuff that happens there. And honestly, combat's pretty all right. Your different talent trees and specs actually do something also. That's good.
I'll say this: I think DA2 has better balanced gameplay than DA3 does, or DA1 for that matter.
We're gonna talk about DA3.
Dragon Age in general has a problem with unbalanced character design. I remember listen, there's a reason why in DA2 you can't be an arcane blade or a knight enchanter, because
The Arcane Warrior.
that's a very terrible idea to give your mages swords. That's the one thing that keeps them in check. And then DA1 and DA3 were like, fuck it, mage swords, and just woo. Trust
Well,
me,
it
baby,
wasn't the
I
swords
did
that-
that both times.
It wasn't the swords that broke it in DA1. It was the fucking armor that you could just
Well, yeah,
wear
that's true.
dragon bone armor.
You get to
together.
wear heavy armor, and you get to apply magic to great swords. Also, you can still cast fireball.
Mm-hmm.
Magic in general was broken in DA1 by far.
Yeah, best builds. Anyway, sorry, we should talk about what Expulsion does, because it is a card that is banned. Tribute a fusion monster. Target 2 non-fusion monsters that are banished or in either graveyard. Special summon both monsters, 1 in each field. If you tributed a fusion monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz, to activate this card, you can special summon both monsters to your field instead in defense position. You need Expulsion once per turn. So yeah, Expulsion is just mean. It doesn't really advance your game state any. It's just like the world's meanest DD Crow.
Yeah.
Like just
it's not
like,
even funny mean too.
Mhm. It's just like, hey, that card you're about to interact with that's in the graveyard are banished. It's on my field now. Fuck.
Like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm still slightly salty at Labyrinth as an archetype, because it took my haha funny meme card for branded and made it popular and is gonna get it banned.
Oh, are you Dallas? Are you sad that we remembered what Eradicator does?
Yes, I'm very sad, because I ran that in Despia branded all the time.
Well, I bet you did. It wasn't a super great card, but it's a stupid card in
Dramaturge,
Labyrinth.
Pitch a lot of stuff to it.
I mean, the thing with Labyrinth and the reason why it's gnarly in Lab is because if you have Lab and Lovely Lady to tribute, you just literally you sack Lovely Lady and literally you come back. Pop, resummon, hi. But yeah, Expulsion is just a mean interruption card. It's like IDP but sassier.
Yeah, it's
Because note, by the way, none of these monsters are negated. They still can activate their effects. It's just that they're in defense position. So, like, gnarly. This is a card that fucks, but like I said, not in a really fun way, but just in a like, well, time to interrupt your combo. Strictly speaking, though, I will say I do think the effect, it does model what the card's supposed to be. It's Albaz getting kicked out as they form a big new dragon. But all right, hey, well, you can see him in this card art, so it's time for him to appear. It's Albaz the Ashen.
I mean, the
Albaz
meta's at least in
3.
a healthier place now.
So yeah, this is the Albaz we saw get yeeted out of, technically, as somebody brought up in chat, what was becoming Albolinatus. There's all the red shit from Brandon lost on the floor. He's standing in a pool of the melting ice shades. He's still got his little ice shade knife, and he just looks tired.
Is half his face burnt?
I think he's a little burnt or smudged, yeah.
No, I think it's just not drawn in properly.
Well, he is
landed
like
in the mud.
Actually, no, I think that's his cloak, but he might be like smoking or steaming. He is very scuffed up and dirty, though.
Yeah,
That's for
might
sure.
be.
Yeah, he might have landed in the mud that way.
Yeah, that's also true.
Yeah. But yeah,
His
otherwise,
very anime-ass pose.
yeah, not a lot to say because it's just Albaz again. But
Yeah. Also, this card is not good.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, Dallas. I think this card exists for the same reason that Shrouded Albion exists. Konami is trying to solve that problem you mentioned, where you can only have so many Albases. And it just turns out that you just play around having less of him is usually what happens.
I'll be honest. You only need 3 Albaz.
Yeah. Quickly, it's being mentioned. The hammer's in the background. Rocky's hiding in his coat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can see him right here. He's very scared. What a little guy. What a little lad. But yeah, this is after branded loss happens. Ecclesia's been kidnapped. Allure's been kicked out of his dragon. But he's still fighting, though. What a good lad.
I think the only, like, non-original Albaz Allure card you run in Branded Despia for, like, the updated ones is the Cartesia one.
Makes sense.
Because you need that for,
Stuff.
a fusion.
Yeah, so, this is, basically he's the same as the original Albaz. Dark Dragon, level 4, 1800 attack, 0 defense. While on the field or in the graveyard, he becomes Fallen of Albaz, so that gives you, more Albazes. Unfortunately, he is not Polyon Legs, which is the Super Polyon Legs, which is the problem. Well, a level 8 fusion monster is in your graveyard. This card gains 200 attack for each monster in your graveyard, and your opponent cannot target other monsters you control with card effects. If a monster you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect while this card and a fusion monster in your graveyard, except the damage step, you can special summon this card. You only activate each effect of Albaz the action once per turn. So, I get what Konami's trying to do here. It's really not worth it. The idea is this is basically like a late-game Albaz. After you've already made your fusions, he can, get stronger. He can count as a new Albaz for materials. He can special summon himself back when your fusion monsters are popped.
It's funny you mentioned it's a late-game Albaz, because I have been at Albaz the Ashen before. Someone has brought him out late game against me in a branded deck. It's awful.
Yeah.
Fucking Fume Knight, yeah.
Spoilers, that's one of my favorite bosses in any Souls game.
It's a lot of people's favorite bosses in Souls games.
The DLC for Dark Souls 2 is unparalleled, in my opinion.
Mwah. Chef's kiss. But anyway.
Yeah.
No, I like the design of Albaz the Ashen. Hold on, I believe my stream's behind as we see this boy.
Yeah.
Big red boy.
Yes. It is Alba Lenatus, the Abyss Dragon.
A lot of people don't run this, and it makes me sad.
So this is... Alba Lenatus is, very obviously what happens at the end of Branded Fusion. Allure has eaten, as Lubellion has eaten up, the Mirror Jade power and become this guy. So it's powered up. Its name is written with the same, it's a homophone for the phrase Divine Flame, but the characters mean Abyss, so, some very funny stuff here. It's got Allure's, red stigmata. It's similar to, the way some stuff moves around, but it's an interesting one. Also,
it looks
by
like
the
there's
way,
a hole in the...
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I mean, it looks like it's got a hole in this chest for where the ball is meant to be and where all the
Yeah.
sigils are coming out of.
His stigmata, yeah. Design-wise, it's mostly just Lubellion, but red, but I like that. He also kind of looks like the way he's got those dots pointed on his horns. It looks like he's got a second spooky face on his chest.
Yeah, but it also, the action shot really sells it to me.
Yeah, he's real powered up. What I was going to say is that technically his name should probably be Alba Renatus, because the word Renatus in Latin means baptism, but I can understand why Konami of America would want to avoid any obscure checks on that one. But yeah, no. He's a big scary dragon. He's red.
I think people are over it now. I think I can get away with it.
Yeah. Yeah, so, Alba Lenatus, the Abyss Dragon, is a Dark Dragon Fusion, level 8, 25-25. He is 1 Fallen of Albaz plus 1 or more Dragon monsters. He cannot be used as fusion material. He must either be fusion summoned or special summoned, sending the above cards from any monster zones to the graveyard. This card can attack monsters a number of times each battle phase, up to the number of materials used once per turn during the end phase. If this card's in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, add 1 Polymerization normal spell or 1 Fusion normal spell from your deck to your hand. So, yeah.
This card was so broken until, like, 3 months ago.
Yeah, this came out in Defo, by the way, very shortly after the structure deck. It was a secret rare, so it probably was a little pricey. Has not yet been reprinted, though probably this year sometime. Not because Konami's not been shying away from reprints. I don't know if you guys have seen any coverage
Well,
of
it's
that
also
two-player starter
definitely
set.
like, I'll say this: it's a lot worse now.
Yeah, I don't think it's as good. But when Branded was in its height, this is a very funny card for a couple of reasons I want to talk about with chat. But what I was going to say was, I don't know if you guys have been following the two-player starter set they've been advertising, but we've gotten some details on it, and it does appear that Konami is not fucking around. It appears that the two-player starter set will include Zeus and several other, like, modern meta cards.
Jesus, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. It feels like Konami is really trying with this two-player starter set. Not just like, okay, we want you to, like, play Yu-Gi-Oh! With, Decode Talker. Like, no. Okay. Pick up this set. You and your friend can learn how to play, like, modern Yu-Gi-Oh! For realsies.
I feel like part of that might be because of the success of certain other card games right now.
Yeah. Well, and also,
feeling a bit of the heat.
unfortunately, I do think that a lot of public perception has been levied at Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I think MBT did a very good takedown of the Actman's video, bitching about quote-unquote new Yu-Gi-Oh! But that video is pretty big, and there's a lot of Yu-Gi Boomer style complaints about the game. So I could see
It's
Konami
really funny. It's
designing a product to be
I
like,
have a lot of complaints against Yu-Gi-Oh. Literally none of them were mentioned in that video.
Yeah, probably not. But yeah, so like Konami's doing some work. Alba Lenatus, so obviously there's very many funny things you can do with Alba Lenatus, right? Number one, hey, it's 2500 attack. You can send this with Dogmatica Punishment and get to search a poly or fusion. Obviously that's in your end phase, or during the end phase, so it's not always the best, but still, funny, hilarious, great card.
Yeah,
second of all, go ahead.
You know what card you could search with this that made it really broken in Master Duel?
What?
You could
Go
search
on.
Instant Fusion with it.
Oh, fuck, that's a fusion spell, yes.
Yeah, it's a normal. They were smart. It's normal, so you can't search Super Poly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Master Duel was like the last holdout demanding Instant Fusion, so.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And even then, if you, I mean, it's not perfect, but if you wanted to do Ready Fusion, you could search that.
No, I did this for my Supreme King Dragon FTK deck.
Fuck you.
Nice.
No.
But also, hey, chat, this thing's a contact super poly. It's like that one fucking Mega Fleet, not Mega Fleet, Mega Fleet's EMZ, Command Fortress Dragon. If your opponent is playing Dragon monsters and you have an Albaz, a monster that says it's Fallon of Albaz, which does include, by the way, I believe Albion the Shredded Dragon and Albaz the Ashen. It's a contact super poly. Also, it mentions Fallen of Albaz as material. If your opponent has dragons on the field, it's just a regular super poly target. Like, there's so many hilarious things you can do with this. I think the main problem is the lack of payoff to actually make it. It's a very funny card to turn all of your opponent's dragons into, but it only gets to attack monsters, which you've presumably just removed.
Well, Omega, say for instance someone's playing, I don't know, a Supreme King deck or, one of those types of decks and brings out a lot of dragon monsters.
Yes, I know.
And then they pull this out.
Yeah, all your monsters get eaten.
No.
That's what I mean, though. Like, this card doesn't just win the game on its own, though, because usually if you're clearing the board that way, your opponent's not going to have any monsters left, so you're not going to get, like, big damage or anything. So,
but also
it's still a very fun,
the
cute
good
turn.
thing about Branded Despia as the deck is you can fuse this into a different dragon monster.
You cannot. Cannot be used as fusion material. First line of text.
Right.
So, Alba Lenatus is fun, but Konami definitely saw this being a problem and kind of tried to dead-end it a little.
Workaround.
Oh, yeah?
And overlaid into Hope Harbinger Dragon.
True. It's a level 8. Yes, no. And that's the thing, especially because this searches you more fusion spells. You won't be hurting for fusion opportunities, you know?
Well, also, spoiler, there's a certain, I don't know if we're going to go over it in this because it's technically part of 2 archetypes. And are we doing the Bestials as their own archetype?
Yeah, Bestials will be a separate episode.
Yeah, so there's a Bestial branded card that you could just overlay with this into Hope Harbinger Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's not one of the better Bestials, to be fair.
True. But there is some
it's
stuff
good
there.
Specifically in branded.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's a few options, but yeah, like I said, I think Konami saw where they were going with this card design and, like, Basically, it gives you a cool, cute option, but it is a card that you're going to have to figure out how to get rid of again on your own.
It's very it's metagame dependent. Like
Yeah.
right now in Master Duel, I would suggest running this card because the two of the like they're not the best decks. Granted, they're like the tier 3 decks, but there's a lot of Dragon Link and Pendulum Magicians, which is surprisingly also a dragon deck.
Yeah.
In disguise.
Thumbs
running
up,
on
Dallas.
Right now.
Dragon
But-
Link is also, yes, very... because the Bystials have come out in Master Duel, Dragon Link is very strong right now.
Yeah. Also, thumbs up because Pendulum Magicians. That's me.
Oh yeah, it's doing really well right now.
Good.
Mostly
I haven't seen
'cause
any,
It's very
but
good
then-
against Sprite and Tier are still the best.
Because you... I think we've done something impossible. They fucking allowed you to play... what was it? Fucking Sprint and all 3 copies of Elf at the same time. I don't know what the fuck Master Duel is smoking.
To be fair, Tier is still keeping Sprite in check.
No, it's true, yeah, but like they've actually done some tier hits. Remember, a Sprite Elf ban is not just a Sprite hit. But yeah, no. Anyway, I've pulled up Branded Banishment. So, meanwhile, back at the plot, bad things are happening everywhere. I don't remember if we covered it explicitly, but the reason why, Theo, Aiden, and Iris, Fleur-de-Lis were not at the Sword Soul Mountain is because they were going back to Central Dogmatica to go punch Maximus.
And then they got all got murdered.
Yes. So, this is basically showing, and actually technically I should probably show, I might want to show the art of Retribution first. Yeah, that's actually more relevant. Hold on. I think I had these in alphabetical order, but it makes much more sense if I pull up the Retribution art first. Yeah, so as Iris Sword Soul, here she is trying to hit what is supposed to be, the Despian version of Maximus. Which is Dramaturge, because of course it is. Spoilers, it's not actually Dramaturge, it's Quiritis pretending to be Dramaturge, and remember, Quiritis is her old armor. But yeah, it looks like things are gonna be okay. Look at that. She's doing a cool Thunderstrike thing. Yay!
And then very bad things happen to her.
Yeah. We can just, it's a pretty normal spell. I mean, it's a counter trap, but it's a good spell trap card. Basically, when a spell trap monster effect is activated that includes an effect to special summon a monster, return to the extra deck a face-up fusion monster you control, or 2 fusion monsters from your graveyard, which mentioned Fallen of Albaz. If you do, negate and destroy. You can banish this card, take a spell trap from your graveyard, a branded spell trap from your graveyard, accept Retribution, add it to your hand. You can only use 1 effect per turn and only once that turn. So, not a perfect, it's not like an Omni Negate, but it is a in archetype Solemn Strike, which does let you recycle fusion monsters from your graveyard if you need them. And return them to your deck. And its banish effect does allow you to recycle a branded spell trap, which can be handy. So, it's an okay card. But then, back specifically to Banishment. Basically, that art, we see the results of this plan, which is not good. Quiritis is very noodly and dragony and noodle dragony. But you can see his weird, fucked up eyeball wings stretching into forever.
Yep.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just,
She about get eated.
True. This is a pretty, a basic one. It's another normal trap. Target a Despia monster or a level 8 or higher fusion monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Then apply this effect. You can special summon, one level 8 or higher fusion monster for your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on it. From either field, you can activate 1 branded banishment per turn. I do believe this did or does see some play. Not very much as a normal trap, but it is an option you can do. Because it lets you recycle your guys, and then, if you so choose, Super Poly. So it is a pretty all-right card. And now, I'm not sure... Yeah, I don't think we covered this card art before. Yeah, no, we didn't, because this isn't the ritual spell. This is the ritual trap. It's time for another Dogmatica card. Dogmaticaturgy.
I love this card.
Yeah. So, hey.
It's a spirit bomb.
No. You can see Iris chained up there. I love the way these eyeballs are drawn, though. Like, they've got like a sketch, almost like a Japanese woodblock print. Like, there's just something distinct about their art style as these eyeballs drip out of the abyss hole. Also, great color gradient shading on the ground here. Like, you've got like a normal sunset into like, oh shit, that's bad. Real great work with the colors and everything. What you can see here is pretty simple. It's Dramaturge, aka Maximus, has, as we've already seen, captured Fleur-de-Lis Iris Sword Soul, and now has captured Ecclesia, and it's like, mwahaha, my evil plan.
Everyone
I
else
obtained
was like,
all
"Oh, shit, we might be in
666
trouble."
saints. Woo. Anyway, this is a
God, I
normal
forgot
trap.
how much this. I
Good.
forgot how much this is written by like edgy teenagers.
It's meant to be
No,
very
it's
obvious.
made by 40-year-old.
Edgy teenagers, yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything.
This is a normal trap that
Our
says...
Retta was supposedly written by an adult, and I still don't believe them.
Languages aren't just what you want.
This is a normal trap that says, ritual summon a Dogmatica ritual monster from your hand or deck by attributing Dogmatica monsters and or ritual fusion or synchro monsters from your field whose levels total exactly that equal to the level of ritual monster you want to summon. If this card's in your graveyard, you can banish it, target 2 Dogmatica monsters with different levels in your graveyard, add one into your hand, place the other in your bottom of your deck. You only use one effect per turn, only once that turn. If Ritual Dogmatica was a real boy deck, which it really isn't, sadly, this would be a great card. Because it's very funny.
To
And it
be
rituals
fair,
from deck.
Dogmatica does play the ritual cards. Unfortunately, this is just worse than another one of the ritual cards.
Yeah, the 2 ritual spells are much better when it's actually your turn. This, like I said, very funny. Being a normal trap, you know, you can do it on your opponent's turn. It can be kind of reactive. But it requires exact levels, and it requires you to banish ritual fusion or synchro monsters from your field.
Yeah.
For exact levels, so it kind of lacks a lot of the spice that makes a lot of much earlier Dogmatica cards good. If this had some ability to, like, you know, blow up your opponent's ritual fusion or synchro monsters, that might be cool. But it's got a very specific interaction. But it's funny.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Dogmata Macabre is just a better card. That's the issue.
Yeah. But alright, and then we have one last spell. Branded in Central Dogmatica. Hey everybody, it's the Murder Chamber we talked about. Pictured here you see the White Relic. Fleur-de-Lis, who seems very dead, and Ecclesia, who's not quite dead.
Oh, to be fair, she's not dead. She's just being puppeted by her own armor.
Yeah. Basically, we'll see the end result of this later because there's actually a couple of places this goes. But Maximus's plan was to gather together, 666 saints, and then kind of squoosh them all together into one big saint pile. Spoilers, that's Cartesia. So, unfortunately, our dear ladies, Ecclesia, Fleur-de-Lis, and the White Relic are about to be, put together into the juicer and squooshed. But we don't need to worry about that right now.
Same with the new Saint they just made, too.
Spoiler, only one of them gets better.
Actually...
Technically, Quem is still wandering around at the end. But
Well, this is kind of a spoiler, but Fleur-de-Lis technically gets better for a limited amount of time.
Well,
Actually.
Fair.
she will
A lost hurrah kind of thing.
Because this story really is, like... the Valuable Book EX only further cements that the story really isn't actually over. Like, it has a climax, and certainly they released enough cards to take a break for a while, but, like,
the season is finished.
there's a lot of open-ended shit left. It is entirely possible that Fleur-de-Lis could come back in some form. But, yeah, she is kind of out of the picture. So there's a lot of stuff going on, but...
but Punchy Dude is definitely fucking dead.
Actually, the place her body is gone now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Theo is dead. I believe Karos is dead. Like, everybody took a couple of losses. Like, 90% of the Ice Shades are dead. No idea what the fuck has happened with the poor Sword Souls.
I think all of them are dead.
I think most of them died or gave up their juice. Honestly, I think the Springans are all fine, but that's because they're, little soot gremlins.
No, not all the Springans are fine. There's a couple that died.
Did they really die, or did we just break up their bodies? We don't know.
Well, one of them got fused into a giant thing, and then that thing got oblivioned.
Well, there's a lot you can come back from. Yes, Mr. Dinnicrill put it very well better. Yes, it's, it was all Season 1. Oh, also to answer your earlier question, Zed, about does Albalonatus work with King of the Swamp? Only if you're fusion summoning it. Because King of the Swamp only substitutes materials when used for a fusion summon. You can't do the contact fusion thing that way. However, you can do the contact fusion effect with cards like Albaz the Ashen and Albion the Shrouded Dragon, like I mentioned earlier, because those count as Albaz face up on the field. So what Branded in Central Dogmatica does, this is another continuous spell, which is honestly just kind of okay. When you special summon one ritual monster and no other cards by a spell card or effect, except during the damage step. So basically, they're trying to say if you ritual summon a ritual monster, but also allow you to, like, monster reborn it. It's very weird. You can look at either player's extra deck and send one monster from it to the graveyard. If you special summon a fusion monster and no other cards by spell card or effect, except during the damage step, target that monster for the rest of this turn. It gains attack equal to its original attack and can only attack position monsters your opponent controls. You can use each effect once per turn. So...
Also, Omega?
Yeah?
Isn't there one more branded card?
I mean, there's lots more branded cards, but in this block of lore, I don't think there's any more. I'll double-check the EX book. But I think
didn't
we're...
know when High Spirits came out.
Yeah, let me double-check what High Spirits is referencing. Oh, yeah, I mean, that's... pretty sure we already talked about that way earlier. That will be in the Springans episode.
Ew.
Also, can't burst
Maybe I
Justice
missed
as
that
well.
then.
Yeah. So
I didn't miss the Springans episode, but
you might have forgotten the card then. We did some branded pick cleanup stuff at the
a
end.
very good card.
This card is very interesting. So like the funny way is it's got a pun in its name, which is completely missed in the English version because it's just not possible. But its name is written in Japanese as Rakui no Meisu. So it's this card is simultaneously branded Central Dragma or Dogmatica and also simultaneously branded Fate. Because we cannot do that thing where they overlay the two names in English, they just did the branded in Central Dogmatica because that, makes it both a Dogmatica spell and a branded spell. It's a cute little card, and obviously I do like that it has the extra add-ons so that you can in fact do cards like Monster Reborn to bring back your fusions or rituals. It's a real weird one. I'm sure you could make this work because it lets you, do graveyard send stuff like a Dogmatica Punishment. Also, it lets you look at either player's extra deck, and so you can basically do, Diablos the Mind Hacker. Oh, what's that, buddy? Ooh. You only have one access code, Talker? No, you don't. Why?
I think I could see this being used much more in Dogmatica than I could branded.
Yeah, if you were actually going to make a... if you're going to make a ritual Dogmatica deck, you have no reason not to include this card because sniping your opponent's extra deck or sending your own cards from extra deck is your thing anyway. Go for it. The fusion effect is, really, really limiting to I need to fusion summon a really, really big monster just to, get him out there. Well, yeah, but mine also, using it as budget Mind Hacker works because Mind Hacker's not banned in Master Duel. But now, kids, it's time to completely change the tone.
Yes.
Because, like all good JRPGs, this one contains a completely random, weird aside full of minigames. That's
Which
right.
Actually, it's the weird thing of, like, this is the whole side thing you needed to get the true ending.
Yeah, it's how you unlock Ultima Weapon.
This is how you make sure
Hey.
the final boss has a secret ultra final boss segment.
Better than having to dodge lightning bolts 10 times.
True.
I will never forgive that.
I'm lost. What?
You shouldn't. Final Fantasy X.
Oh.
Final Fantasy X, to unlock the ultimate weapon, or the ultimate weapon, or it's for what's his face, right?
Riku.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Wait, no,
you have to
Riku,
dodge. No, it's for Titus.
Was it Titus?
It's one of them. It's an important character.
Yeah.
You have to dodge lightning 10 times.
Oh, I think it's more than 10 times.
No, it's 10 times in a row without being hit once.
But yeah,
I think it's
so
more than 10.
Therion is a very interesting archetype.
Fuck it either way.
What I think Konami was going for was, because this is literally an aside, I think they were attempting to build kind of a weird toolbox deck. And there was a lot of gnashing of teeth and bemoaning that Therion was gonna become the next new hit thing. It was gonna be the engine you splash into every deck. It was not.
Okay, Omega, to be fair, it was.
Okay,
Then
sure, but it didn't
Bystials
do it.
came out.
Also, it didn't do anything. There's like one Punk
As
Theory
a
on
deck
top.
on its own, it sucked.
Well, no, I mean, Dallas, literally, I looked up, there's only one list identified anyway as Punk Therion that made a top cut on Yu-Gi-Oh!
No,
Topics.
what I mean is individual Therian cards showed up in, like, hundreds of decks. Like,
Yeah. But the idea that they would truly take a lot of these decks over the top was Cope. I think the number of decks that actually benefited from the Therion engines was fairly minimal, and it tended to be only a couple of them specifically. Lily, for instance, is actually very important to plant decks, which have actually made some top cuts.
Rose person.
That's yeah, Lily.
No, there's two Therions. Sorry, King Regulus. That's right.
Oh, right. Well, that's for machine decks.
But it isn't also in plants.
I guess you send.
I mean,
Does Lily a search?
Each word variant is different.
Like, I don't. Nor do I want. This is not an excuse for Dallas to explain the line to me. I don't remember why that would be a line in the base. I'm gonna
Because it
assume
lets
that
you
means
search
that.
Lily.
But how do you summon him? You have no machines.
He's an earth monster, and a lot of plants can do
Oh,
that.
right. Yeah. Okay. That's
Generally, it's in
Vertisil,
Rika a
right,
lot.
yeah.
And Rika is fine with doing that.
Yeah, Rika can do that line. The Earth line. Okay. But, like, there's some that make sense, like Dukiel, for instance, is psychic. The two Reguluses are machines. There's an aqua. There's a plant. There's a reptile. The fun thing is that much like some of the Ice Jades and some other cards, there's no reason to not have more Therians. Spoilers, the Therians are all named after fucking zodiac signs again. They even already busted out Ophiuchus. So, there could be as many as 13 of them. There are not. There's like 7. I think there's
Spoiler,
there's 3.
There's only like 6 or 4 I would consider good.
Which, to be fair, is pretty good. There are literally 7 of them, and one of them is just Regulus again, irregular Therion. So
Spoiler,
like,
he's awful.
2/3 of them being okay, not bad. But it's definitely very funny that, like, I think
Maybe 3.
Konami got out of publishing Therions, and like they really could just give them more
Empress
support.
might be good if they could ever make a good reptile deck.
Yeah, that's the problem. Empress is the reptile one. She can only possibly be useful if we actually make a snake deck good. It still hasn't quite come together. Almost. We're getting close.
The Aqua one is not good. Spoiler.
No, and I mean that's especially true because Konami was just like, you know what, fine, we'll make Aquas good ourselves. Fuck you. But yeah, so the card on screen is Therion Disc Coliseum. Disc Coliseum, the Therion's ring in Japanese. But yeah, so this is the country of iron. It was mentioned in the backstory for some of the Tri-Brigade and stuff later. They have, volcanoes and natural resources and shit. Everything's sparkling. And they have a giant disc arena that is a UFO. No, I'm not shitting you. We'll talk about it in a second, but they're
I'll
fixed.
say the remaining Abyss archetypes get weird.
Like a fun way.
Mileage varies.
I mean, I think Sprite's pretty cool. I mean, I've seen a lot of fan art of Sprite cards with, their big poofy jackets a lot. They're pretty alright.
I'll be very honest. The one I don't like lore-wise is Therion.
Therion is weird. I mean, I feel like Konami wrote them that way deliberately because they understood that they were doing a weird aside. Because as you can see Kit in this picture, this is where Kit and the rest of the Springans except Rocky went because, like I said, they're looking for the power to defeat all of Dogmatica and the boys.
Yeah.
So they
need it. They need the help kicking the ass of the drama school dropouts.
yeah. So they go to the weird alien jocks. So
How
this
do
is
we
their
beat
field
these
spell.
people? A gun.
Yes, basically. But I need a big enough gun and I need a big enough power source for it. So, anyway, Therion Disc Coliseum is their field spell. When this card is activated, add a Therion from your deck to your hand. This does actually see some slant play whenever you use a Therion engine.
Yeah.
Just because it's an auto search. Once per turn, if a monster will be destroyed by battle, you can send a Therion or Endless Engine Argo System. We'll talk about that card in a second. From your deck to your graveyard. Once per turn, when a monster is destroyed by sent to the graveyard, target Therion monster graveyard, and put one to hand. You can only activate one Therion Disc Coliseum per turn. But honestly, considering that, again, I feel like Konami designed the Therions to be an engine deck, not a deck. Because while they do work together, because they key off their own archetype, they are still... They're not their best form that way, right? Put it that way.
Like, even decks that are called Therion generally have a sub-theme. Like Therion Tier or Therion Branded.
I mean, there's literally just not enough Therions. There's only, like I said, 7 main deck names, some of which are not good.
3 or 4 of them are good.
Yeah. That said, Disc Coliseum is a really good... Considering this was in their initial wave of release, Disc Coliseum is a really good field spell. Search, bin, which you need to do, and then recycle. Like, it's good. It's a good card. This is why, like I said, you see it even if you're only using, like, a couple of Therions as an engine package, you will still sometimes see Disc Coliseum jammed in there because it's a field spell, which means it's very accessible.
As long as the deck you're running does not need a field spell, then yeah, it's a pretty good one.
It's if you don't need your field spell, it's eminently accessible, which is funny. But anyway, hey, so remember that thing we talked about, the Endless Engine Argido system? And I think it is, the Japanese is written Argido, so I think it is Argyro or Argido. It's him. He's right there. Because the Disc Coliseum is a UFO. He is an AI.
Look at those fucking eyeballs.
Look at this boy.
Just looks like a card that was from Zexal.
We just slapped some googly eyes on that shit and called it done.
Yeah, basically.
This is like as if they told you Big Brother was menacing and then you looked up and saw this.
So yeah, like, I mean, I don't want to knock this art because background detail-wise, fucking phenomenal. Like, these firework effects, the fucking streaks of fire from the volcano constantly erupting, like, it's real good.
City below.
It's just... Arjiro here is dumb. He's goofy.
I'm sure this is meant to do what it did. Like, I think I hate the art. I'll be very upfront, but it is capturing what it's going for.
Yeah. So,
spoiler, you're gonna hear that a lot in this section.
Our actual boys are 3 folds. So
You wanna do bad to good or good to bad?
I think I was just gonna do it in alphabetical order, so that will probably be all over the place. But yeah, basically, so to recap, the Springans, because they are now sworn brothers with Aldaz and Ecclesia, the words from the EX book, they go to the Iron Country. They're gonna check out these Therions and see what's up. And they're looking for the boss of the Iron Country, which is the Agro system. And the actual Disc Coliseum and their stuff is like, what's the best way to put it? The sprites we're gonna see at a later date are kind of like offshoots of this thing. So yeah, it is a sprite itself, kind of. Anyway, what this does, this is a normal spell. It says send a Therion card from your deck to the graveyard. If this card's in your graveyard, you can target a Therion card in your graveyard. If both are still in your graveyard, add either that card or this card to your hand. If you do place the other on the bottom of your deck, you can use one effect per turn only once that turn. So yeah, no, if you're playing Therions, this is a good card. I don't think it's as good as the field spell, but it does the thing.
Wait, what card are we talking about?
Endless Engine Agita System.
So, fun fact about this card, I've honestly not seen this used much in Therion lists.
I mean, depending on what your list is, I could see it because it's...
Oh,
Your
no,
field
wait,
spell
yeah,
does
it
the same
is.
thing.
Sorry, it's just the most obnoxious looking art from a distance.
He's just a guy. But all right, we're going to run down the line real quick. We're not going to talk about a lot of their spell traps because most of them have very boring art.
Yeah.
It's just various Therions punching something. Oh, I should also say, the name Therion comes from the ancient Greek for wild beast. They all have something in quotes, and then the other part of their name is the name of a star in their constellation. So, you know, this one, Therion Bull Ein, is named after, you know, a star in Taurus. Duh. Believe it or not, by the way, this guy's a warrior. This guy is a warrior. He is not a beast warrior. I mean, art-wise, he's pretty okay. He gives me kind of like, fuck. Which one was that, actually? Which one came first? Constellars, right? And Satellar Knights were later?
I don't remember. No, I don't care.
Whichever one is first, he gives me like, hey, it's been, 10 years. We're going to redraw those guys because, like, he's kind of like a golden armory boy. You can see that he's got, the, like, blue energy tanks on his back. Otherwise, he's just, got a lance and a shield, and he's got wheelie feet.
This looks like a rejected design from an anime.
Ah, so it's a Digimon, you say?
No,
Sorry.
It's not even. It's more of a.
I just saw that
Duel
Zed
Masters
saw that Ajairus looks like a moisture creature. Sure he does. Moisture creature. Anyway, yeah. Anyone have anything else to say about Bull?
I think it looks kind of bad. It looks like a toy.
It just screams like Final Fantasy mid boss to me.
No,
Wow,
this is
okay.
not. This is
Today I
not
learned
nearly
Axe
the
has no respect for Final
well-detailed
Fantasy.
Final Fantasy art. Yeah, no, that's an insult to Final Fantasy.
I don't know. I think it's like the Airbuster and shit.
Unless you're talking about.
Whoa, all right, you do not. Okay,
This
well,
is
actually,
not
okay.
Fantasy
The original
overrated.
Airbuster is very derpy, but he's derpy in an endearing way. But also, it's
Thi-
okay.
this
He had a
isn't
glow
all
up,
the
so you are
bravest
not
boss
allowed
area.
to slander Airbuster.
I think you're so defensive over just a robot.
Well, first of all, I mean, he has fucking laser beam fingers and hands that fly, like the Gelug
This
from the end
is
of
transform-
Gundam.
No, Chris Starlight's right. This is like a new fucking generation transformer.
Your Transformer, a GoBot?
Yeah. Also, just Omega, you can't trust Axe and not diss on anything that's quote unquote old. Going through Halo 1 and Halo 2 is like, I'm not a fan of this. I don't like these.
Is he
Rob, you
watching
over
the
there
Return
give
of
him
the
that
Okay,
thing
you're
either.
dead. You're dead to me. I can take that about Halo 1. You're dead to me about Halo 2.
Like they're okay. I just
Still
don't
the
think
best campaign in any FPS game, in my opinion.
I mean, we had to switch to normal for 2. For very
Of course we
obvious
did.
reasons.
they're
And then we
Your
get to
brain
3 and
pain just
access to me. Man, Jackal Snipers weren't that bad.
Because You were
Now
on
we're
normal.
pretty bad.
Normal.
No, we turned it down. God damn you.
I'll say this: one I can understand because one has some pretty rough.
I mean,
points in the
one they
campaign.
were developing the technology, also the library. Everybody knows it. There are
Yeah.
limitations.
I
but-
wasn't gonna say it, but yeah, the library's bad.
I forever don't understand. I'm not having this conversation here because we're having a stream.
Thank you.
Oh,
Axe.
sorry,
We're
sorry,
self
no.
aware. Okay.
I just
Very on
remembered-
bull.
Triple teamed.
Sorry,
Therion
Omega.
Bull. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Just quickly, word of warning: whenever you get lucky to play Halo, whoever is player 2 or is not hosting has input lag.
Probably a second or two.
All right. I'll probably suck it up because Lucky will probably be streaming his POV.
It's gonna suck.
I'll be all right. It's just Halo, man.
Okay,
It's
but
not
yes,
that bad
this
if we're not
bull.
playing Lasso.
Therion Bull is a Fire Warrior, by the way. Level 7.
What?
Fire Warrior. Level 7. 2100 attack, 1600 defense. Also, by the way, very bad stats for a... I understand Therians have a theme we're going to get into, but bad default stats for level 7.
My hands are up.
You can only
I give
use
up.
each of the following effects of Therion Bull Ain once per turn. 1, you can target a Therion monster or a warrior monster in your graveyard. If you do, special summon this card from your hand and equip that monster to this card. Target a Therion monster card you control and one card your opponent controls, destroy them. A Therion monster equipped with this card gains 700 attack. Also, it can activate the second effect listed above as if it were Bull Ain.
The fun part about Therians is that they work within the type they are, or Therians themselves, and then if it's a Therian, they do more. And kind of like a stacking method.
Yeah. But the Bull's not super great. Honestly, I can probably understand why, because it's Warrior. I don't know why they didn't make it Beast Warrior, other than I guess they didn't want to give Tri-Brigade a new card. Even though they were going to give Tri-Brigade like 4 new cards. Anyway. It's okay. It definitely showcases
No,
what
this card is awful.
the Therion theme is. Because it's just free summon off a guy, and then you equip, and that does stuff. Its equip effect is to, target a Therion you destroy and your opponent destroys. I don't think it's awful, because technically the effects where you destroy yourself, it is meant to be in archetype. The problem is I think that just they don't have enough monsters that are also independently useful, so it's kind of, limiting.
So the biggest problem with this card in a Therion deck, not even going to get into the fact that this card has no warrior deck home.
They
The
tried
biggest
really
problem
hard with
is-
making him Fire Warrior, but yeah.
So his level is the big problem.
Oh, they're all different levels, aren't they?
No, they're all 7s or 8s. A spoiler, the bad ones are the 7s. And 110, but he's also all.
Well, yeah. Interesting. Well, alright.
Yeah,
So, let's
most
grab
of
our
the Therion extra deck plan is either use whatever the other half
Oh,
of your
well,
deck
yeah,
is,
okay.
or go into Xyz 8s.
I mean, true, but also, this is another case of, Konami just didn't even give these guys an extra deck, so... I understand that makes them a bad archetype because nobody wants to play with an empty extra deck, but I don't think their game plan
excuse you.
involves their extra deck.
I play Ancient Warrior.
Don't you guys have a Link too or something?
Yeah. It's
Okay,
that's-
my
yeah.
extra deck is four cards.
Yeah, well, it's not nothing. These
So
guys
what's
literally don't
wait,
have...
wait,
I mean,
wait,
unless
wait,
you
wait,
count
Wait. What's the
Gigantic
fourth
Champion
card?
Sargass.
Wait, guys.
The fourth
That
card?
was good. Those cards are just 3 of the same card. So what's the fourth one?
No, it isn't. I only run 2 copies of the Ancient Warrior.
Okay, well, no, okay, let's copy the other one then.
I run Abyss Dweller, and I run Access Code Target.
Okay. I'm not surprised.
You can't even find a 5th generic to put in there?
No.
I mean, you can put Underworld Gods in there, I guess. Just
I probably could, but
I mean, if you
my
can put
game
Access
plan
Code
in that
Target
deck
there, you
does
could
not
put...
involve my.
You can put Underworld Goddess, you could put fucking Zealantis in there.
Oh,
I'll say this: I have summoned. I don't think I've ever summoned the Access Code that's in there.
What
so
type
sorry, I
are
just remembered.
warriors? Go ahead, Loft.
I just remembered, thanks to Omega, there was a thing I need to send to him at some point about my favorite, dumbest Halo 2 mod. I need to share with him.
There's
I'll
what
pay
type
after
are
that.
Ancient Warriors?
It's so dumb.
What attribute are they?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Also, guys, I forgot to bring this up earlier because we got Dallas and I guess me as well because I don't remember anymore. But I should have mentioned I actually liked the design of the previous thing.
Oh, you liked Bull? I mean, I don't think Bull is
Yeah.
awful. I just think he's kind of generic.
I imaged
I
the thing
do.
of being like it'd be a fight where he's like been fucking like.
I take
playing
offense to
and,
him
like,
being
hurting.
classified as a warrior.
I mean,
Well,
yeah,
because
that's
he's
the
carrying a
part that
different type.
bamboozles me. I think because he's a fire warrior and he equips, what Konami was trying to do was try to backdoor in some Infernoble support, and it just didn't
No,
work.
Didn't
all
work.
Therians equip to each other. technically.
I know, but like
Yeah, they do.
Axe, he's based off the constellation Taurus. Why is he a fire warrior? He should be beast or beast warrior, but they didn't
Have
do
you
that.
seen Mega Man Star Force with
Realistically,
Taurus,
he should be
Taurus
beast.
Flame, right?
But
Yeah, that doesn't matter. That would
Is
also
that
be
your
beast
only
warrior.
reference point, Mega Man?
Taurus
I mean,
is
the
just
thing
a
about,
bull.
Horus is a bull. It's just a bull.
But yeah, this is Therion Duke Yul.
What?
Yul. Like Yul Brenner. Literally, it's spelled the same way. It's pronounced Yur.
Is that a
Well,
tiny
this
head?
is one of the better Therions.
Yes, he's a tiny head, which is weird because he's psychic. Also,
doesn't
yes,
have a
by
big
the way, I
face on
spoiled
his-
it. Light psychic, baby.
Honestly, part of his design reminds me of like actual like the Synchro Arrow Psychic monsters with like the generators on his back and shit.
I mean, okay, hold on. Light Psychic, I can kind of see it. Why? Because this guy's giving me fucking MODOK energy.
He
You know
does
what
kind of have
he
those
reminds me of?
proportions. What's up?
It reminded me of that one dude from League of Legends.
Oh,
No frame of reference for that.
yeah.
The dude
I
with the spider
actively
leg.
pretend Riot doesn't exist.
I thought
Look,
I
I
you were about to say
pretend
Blitzcrank.
League of Legends is just a card game.
yeah.
That's way better for
I mean,
me.
like,
I mean, if
it's
I was
pretty
into the
good.
card game, I would probably
I've
would.
heard
but,
it's been like having phases of being
Um,
like hard to get into, but yeah.
but
I like
yeah,
Ruger.
like this is
He also have a MOBA, I
the
guess.
psychic part is a little weird, but like there's nothing wrong with this kind of design. I mean, what would happen because like this guy says psychic type to cycle back to talking about Final Fantasy stuff. Like this guy would be psychic type because when you use like enemy scan on him, it reveals that there's like a brain inside his torso or something. But like R-wise, there's nothing like wrong about it. It's got kind of a dynamic action
No.
shot. He's got big clampers with guns in them. He's got little robot legs.
I'll say this. This is probably my favorite art of the Therions because of how inoffensive it is.
He's perfectly normal.
Well, second favorite because there's one I actually like, but
But yeah, as Dallas said, Yule is actually one of the okay ones because, duh, he works off psychics.
I would actually argue he's the best of them because
Yeah, he's
he
got
has
some
a
pretty
lot of
flexible
synergies
effects.
in the
So,
deck he's in.
Yule is a level 8 psychic, 2100 attack, 2800 defense. Also, he's a level 8, which is important for certain psychic decks these days. I think this guy alone is probably what made people think of Punk Therion. Punk
Yeah,
Therion, not
I mean,
not
and it's
actually
not-
very successful, but was labbed a lot.
Well, the thing about Punk Therion is, I mean, I technically still run this in my Punk deck. It's just I don't run any other Therion cards.
Yeah. No. Like I think he's just like I said, he's a level 8 with a free special summon. Well, a semi-free, but you know what I mean. If you're doing psychic stuff, you can get guys in graveyard. It's not hard. You can target a Therion or Psychic monster in your graveyard, special summon this card from your hand if you do equip that. While you control an equipped card, Therion monsters you control can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And then a Therion monster equipped with this gains 700 attack and also the effect listed under Yule. So, like, if you're playing a pure Therion deck, Yule is good. If Therions are equipped with him, or if he's gotten a card equipped to him, they are immune to destruction. Otherwise, it's just basically free extension in a Psychic deck with a level 8.
There is one part about Duel that has made him significantly worse in Punk, and that is the Bestials releasing.
Yes, he is light, which means he is a bestial target, but that's a problem anyway. Hey, chat, you
no,
know how
I
many...
mean the Bestials just replaced him.
Oh, it's just a free summon.
Just absolutely replace him.
I mean, yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's probably
no,
makes sense.
Spoiler,
Hold on.
Punk Bestial Rebellion replaces him.
Fair enough. And that's honestly, that seems to be what... Speaking of card design-wise, I think that's what the Bestials were designed to do. Konami looked at all the Therions, noticed how they weren't good, and was like, shit, what do we do? Fuck, what if we made them Chaos and Dragons? That'll be an engine that goes in everything if they can banish lights and darks.
Here you go,
Spoilers,
Dallas.
I
That's
do,
for
and I'm
you.
already sick of them.
Hey, the Bestials did kind of fuck up a lot of shit and how, like...
They
They
are,
optimize
like,
all the decks,
the
but, like-
most generic tuckable support ever.
There are two of the Bestials in particular I wish never existed.
Yeah, it's funny because they came out pre-limited. Actually, some people have been labbing some of the lesser-used Bestials in Master Duel and found them to actually be, like, effective.
Yeah, no, Lubellion is one of those.
Who's, like, the third best Bestial? I don't remember.
I think it's Lubellion or Saranir.
It's Sarnir or Baldrake is, like, the third best one, is the one that people are like, oh, shit,
I
that
just
guy's actually
remember-
useful.
Baldrake?
I just remember the whole
Yes.
thing with how, so, you guys are telling me I'm wrong. I lost my train of thought entirely. I'm sorry. Of how I think the Bestials, I think, actually optimize certain decks to be even worse, like tier.
I mean, no, they gave every deck that if you're playing against your light or dark or you play lights or darks gives you free specials. And unfortunately, some
hey,
of them are
Do
self-replenishing.
you want to take a guess about how many of the current top decks in Master Duel aren't light or dark?
None.
I'd argue one.
Who is the
'Cause
standout?
while Sprite does have a dark target, it is mostly fires.
That's true. That's true. Sprite's still good. I think also people are still trying to make Flu work in Master Duel. Which is all...
Oh, and Sword Soul. Sword Soul is also not lights or darks.
No, you have some of them, but they're not... They're multi-attribute.
You also don't... It's weird. Sword Soul doesn't need Bestials because every worm archetype works with itself.
Yes.
So they just use Tennies.
Yeah, you don't need them. This is Therion Empress Alasia.
Oh, I hate this art.
I don't hate it, but it does... We talked earlier about how they look like toys. I mean, okay. If you think this card is a mashup of a bunch of different things that don't make sense, this is intentional. Technically,
understand that.
Alasia comes out a little later once, like, they've defeated the champion and stuff, the king. She is supposed to be the Therion that adds onto herself with every enemy she defeats, so she is a cobble of a bunch of different mismatched machines. That does unfortunately mean that she is kind of ugly.
I have two questions, though. Omega.
Yeah.
Okay, why does she have cat toe beans?
Well, she's also got claws, so I think that came off a lion Zord.
She's meant to be like some kind of...
What's your second
Mechanical-
question, Dallas? What do you got?
Why is she, like, rocking the one bra? The one
That
couple bra?
that one I cannot answer. Why does she have a single
reminds
boob
me-
gem? No idea.
Weirdly,
that
it reminds me of
bothers
like
me
certain
so
kind of
much, I don't
gladiatorial
understand.
outfits because it's a weird mix of like it makes you think of an echidna, a lamia, and then like a boar at the same time.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of an artist rendition of you ask them, okay, can you put scrap and wind up together as an archetype?
To me, it's like it's a mix between like a AI constructed a bunch of robots to fight, and then mixed it between like mechanical animals and gladiators at the same time.
Can I tell you guys the one thing about this card I found out, which looks incredibly funny? If you look at the end of the tail, it looks like there's a face there.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
actually a couple.
You right
No,
Sorry, got
I
got
figured
listen
it
to
out.
you.
Oh my God.
again.
I figured this out.
Yeah.
This is the 4Kids adaptation of Persona.
It's kind of clutched together. But no, I feel like every little bit is like intentionally weird and fucked up.
Just grind
know,
up.
But the thing is just like with the coloration and placement, this gives me mad like this is a line of toys that you are supposed to combine vibes.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Like,
this
the
looks
only
like
part-
every like Power. Did I say Power Rangers? I'm sorry.
That works.
This looks like every Transformers knockoff.
That also, I think both of those work because, like I said, I literally think she's got like a lion Zord arm, but like I think just the head and the torso are the original Elysia. Maybe
We'll
I
get
guess
to
technically the
Lion Zord.
tail, but like those are like boar tusks or elephant tusks. Not sure. Got like a weird striking snake arm. Got like another guy's head plate as her shoulder. Got a
God,
lion
this-
hand.
Okay, this might be a very deep cut. You know what this reminds me of, and the Therion archetype in general, actually, art style-wise does? Remember the anime question mark Zoids?
Yeah.
This
I
looks
remember
There's
like
like
Zoids.
some Zoid stands in here.
I've never seen.
Yeah.
Zoids.
Don't really remember Zoids very
I
well.
don't
Wasn't
blame
big.
you, Axe.
Good old Liga Zero.
Like, I know of it, but I just never bothered watching it.
No,
I know there's
it's
a lot of
an
weird, like,
unfortunate
behind-the-scenes
victim of being an anime that relied on CGI, released in like 2005.
I only ever cared about it when it was used as SRW.
Oh no, sorry, 2002.
There's
Look,
a few things.
I have fond memories of it.
Oh, I do too, but it would not hold up because, once again, early CGI.
The animation probably doesn't hold up, but you can still enjoy it even if it
Screened up.
looks jank.
Wind app.
All the hand-drawn stuff probably looks great.
So, Empress Elysia is an Earth Reptile, level 8, 2100 attack, 2500 defense. You can target a Therian or Reptile monster, special summon it, and equip it. Discard a card, target its second effect is discard a card, target a Therian in your spell and trap zone, special summon it. Blah, 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 gains the effect. I feel like Elysia is a failure on two ends. One, she requires reptile monsters, which is like, okay, cool, but those are never good. All Konami needs to do is release some fucking Ogdoadic rank 8s, some Xyz monsters, please. Or just make generic rank 8 reptiles. But the other problem is her effect is to discard a card to special summon a Therian monster that's in your equip zone. It's not really worth it.
Quick thing, if you guys don't mind me saying something, because I just remembered another joke I can make about this card.
Yeah,
It's the love child of Cheetor and Black Arachnia from fucking Beast Wars.
God, that's a deep
That's
cut.
a deep pull.
Yeah, it
Move.
is.
I don't think she's bad in Therion because I think the
Yeah.
summon effect is better than you think it is.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean, though, is, like, I think in pure Therion, it's what she's got going for her. The problem is that deck doesn't really exist. She was a
It
later...
does, it's just not very good.
Well, I mean, it doesn't exist as in people are not actively playing it or going anywhere with it. I mean, there's probably a few out there, but it definitely feels like a deck that's not very well represented.
I'm few.
I will say, yeah, well, you... Dallas, it would be easier for me to figure out what archetypes you don't claim to play.
Here.
Elysia was released in Pote in Power of the Elements after the other Therion, so she is clearly meant to be, like, one or two of their catch-up cards. Unfortunately, like, both lore-wise and I think, like, attention-wise, Konami moved on to Sprite and kind of left Therions in the dust. There's very few archetypes in Yu-Gi-Oh! I actively dislike. Most of them are related to anime villains. Nobody should print another single fucking Time Lord card ever. In fact, we should ban all Time Lord cards.
I fucking hate Time Lords.
Time Lord is the most annoying bad deck I've ever seen.
They're awful, but you see them splashed in lots of places because they're goofy. Shit like that.
What's this?
But,
We
like,
attack you, you take no damage. However,
but
you, fuck up
in
everything.
general, I don't like have any ill will to Therion as a concept. I really wish Konami had just been like, oh, hey, shit, we've got 6 more constellations. That means we could print 6 more Therions. And they just didn't do that. They should probably print those 6 more Therions.
Maybe season 2?
Maybe. We'll see.
I mean, didn't our driver, like... No.
No, because the robots are fighters in the Coliseum that are built by our Gyro and the Sprite, so theoretically you could get more. Also,
I
in
think we get to-
general, I think card game design-wise, lore-related archetypes are really cool. You should not make lore an excuse for your deck to be bad.
I mean, look at Branded and Tyr.
Well, yeah, those decks are really good and also very lore dependent. Yeah, like there's no
Honestly-
reason why being limited by the fact that, like, oh well, we only showed 6 of them on screen and then they all died. That hasn't stopped them from doing backported support for shit like Ice
Therion is the
Barrier.
only. I would argue as a deck, Therion is the only bad Abyss archetype.
Yeah,
Was it because it's like feels more designed to be splashed than other things?
yeah, that's true. But I mean, remember,
Also
Bystials are the
isn't,
same
though.
way.
Because a
You know,
lot of the
they do
spell
have
traps-
they do have a solid game design on their own. Anyway, here he is. It's Therion King Regulus. This is the guy who is supposed to like break Yu-Gi-Oh. A lot of people talked up this guy.
And
Okay,
was
hold on,
this
sorry,
on
can I just-
MBT's most overhyped card video?
I think
had
it
to be,
was.
right?
I think it was.
Can I just say one thing about this guy? He looks like he could be a UA card.
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
He's got them young hands.
He
as
can
well.
honestly be in a lot of archetypes because this is just a robot lion man gladiator. He's got a giant fucking belt.
Honestly, this just looks like a Guilty Gear fighter.
I can see that.
I can see it. I think it's more because it reminds me
Got
of
big
the
hands.
costume of a character already.
Okay, Guilty / Blaze Blue / one of the anime fighters.
An Arxis character.
Yeah.
Sorry, because it said Flameville Lore Man. Yeah, that poor guy. But there's some good stuff there. Ooh, Reptile Light Prince, that's funny. But yeah, like art design wise, Regulus is fine. He's a guy. He's a robot lion.
I like it for what it is.
Why is he a robot lion? I don't know. We just decided.
All Therians are robots.
I mean, yeah, but
hair,
like the funny part is this guy's actually a robot. This is a machine.
his hair / main thing looks too much like Yugi. It freaks me the fuck out.
He does
It
kind of
looks
have
a-
the Yugi hair because he's got
He
like
very much
a
does
gold
look
crown.
like a fighting game character, though. Like, unironically, his design beats are very
which is probably intentional and probably okay.
FGC.
Yeah,
Because these
I-
guys are supposed to be, Coliseum
Dallas,
fighters,
this-
and
this is-
gladiators.
Hot take?
Dallas, this is Mecha King.
This guy looks like more like. Oh, you're right. This is just Mecha King. This guy looks more like a fighting game character than the fighting game character archetype cards.
True.
Yeah.
Though I think some of the
Yeah.
the weird thing about VS, because we've talked about them before, is that Vanquish Soul looks like almost like a crossover fighter. Because they have a lot of very
Vanquish
distinct
Soul
art
has
styles.
some characters that look like fighting game characters, and then their boss monster just doesn't.
I'm sure there's a guy who looks like Kaiser Various somewhere in there. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Vanquish Soul right now. Regulus is an Earth Machine. That's part of why he was super overhyped. He's an 8, which is not perfect for Earth Machine, but works. He's got 2,800 attack, 600 defense, so he's got more usable stats than a lot of the guys had. You can target a Therian or a machine monster to summon him back. And his effect is, which includes both when he is equipped and when he's not equipped. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, send a Therian monster card from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard, negate that effect. So, basically, what Regulus was supposed to do was give every Earth Machine deck a negate, which technically I think he did do that, but that didn't really matter. I
Two
think what
things I
was,
just realized.
Go ahead, yeah.
One, thank you to Evan Steinberg in chat for
That's Dallas.
pointing out the name of that spider thing that Dallas and I were thinking about.
That's Dallas.
Dallas.
Dallas did
Bob,
that.
That's me.
Fuck you, Evan Steinberg. you a bitch.
Jose Evan Steinberg.
Secondly, I forget that you're not just Dallas Rose on YouTube, alright?
I
I'm sorry.
understand.
People do make that mistake sometimes.
Name
I thought
sounds
it was
so
just
normal.
someone else.
It sounds like an actual human person.
It's because it was a wrestling. I've gone over this. It was my creator wrestler name.
Hey, it's
Nine.
fine. I'm sorry, Dallas.
Thing.
The second thing, it's just I actually do like the way this guy looks. That's it. He's
I do
dumb,
as well.
but he's the good kind of dumb.
Yeah, you nailed it. Like, this is a dumb-looking card, but in a good way.
Yeah, it's a little cartoony, which I think is important. So what I was gonna say was that I'm reminded when talking about the state of Earth Machine of a joke MBT brought up during that one Master Roulette when Doug rolled the train pack, the Earth Machine pack. If you listen to an experienced Earth Machine player, they'll be out here doing like developing cold fusion for like 20 minutes, and then they end on like one big guy and 2k burn. I don't think Regulus actually changes that math any. It's
You
cute.
want to know the funny thing? This is barely played in Earth Machine.
Yeah, because he's not good. Like, that's what I say. I'm talking about, like, the overhype to the actual playability was, like,
Well,
everybody was like,
I
oh, my
disagree.
God, this
He's-
guy's got a
He's
negate.
played an absolute fuck ton in Rika.
Yeah, I guess that does give you a negate line because of Lily and, well, you do need Con, so I don't know if you run Disc Coliseum. I don't actually know
He's
what
in
the
like
Rika build looks
80%
like.
of Rika decks.
Uh,
Very funny.
But yeah, like, it's... I think it's because of the way Lily works is you can very easily get to a Lily line because she's a plant. He is also an Earth, so as we discussed, there's lines that summon him.
Yeah.
But
He's also an 8, which helps.
Yeah, Lily's really easy to get out because she is a plant, so you can just lone fire if you need to.
Spoiler, the standard rate in Rika is 2 Lily, 1 Regulus.
Yeah, so it's a pretty good ratio. Makes sense.
Destiny.
But yeah, it's like I said, that's kind of funny how the comparison is that like that's actually like it's only 2 cards, but that's actually like a Therion combo. Whereas, like I said, a lot of people thought you would just play this guy straight up an Earth Machine to get an extra negate.
Oh no, Omega, I lied. It is played in a machine deck.
Man, I'm sure there is some.
It's played in Springans.
I mean, yeah, you would because he's an 8. We'll explain why later. But yeah, there's a lot of again the ratio of like
Speaking of Arc System cards,
there's a ratio of like people saying this card would be super good and be everywhere, which Konami agreed with. This was a secret. This was a secret rare.
but it turned out to just be kind of okay.
Yeah, like it's cute, but Yu-Gi-Oh is in such a state where most decks can get access to a generic once per turn negate if they try really hard. And honestly, if worst comes to worst, if you can just put a lot of guys on board, you can still just make Appaloosa. Not perfect, but she does exist. Speaking of Lily, though, she is our next one. Therion Lily Borea. She is the other girl one and also the plant one.
No, there's another girl one, I think.
Actually, yeah. Reaper might be another girl as well.
I can't fucking tell because of that art, but we'll get to there.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean...
you know how I said the last one was silly and I liked it? This one is silly and I'm not such a fan.
Yeah.
That's right. Dallas is sexist, keeping the women down. Yeah, I don't have any...
No, sure, that's me.
No, I'm kidding. I don't really have any strong
it
feelings
is
about this
kind
one
of
way or another.
that all of the female Therion art is the one I hate.
I personally don't have any strong feelings one way or the other about this. She's got, like, a drill butt, and her dress is, like, flower petals, okay? She produces lots of thorn lines. The fact that they're all looped up, the barbed wire is looped up in knots is giving me anxiety, actually, a little bit.
This is, yeah, that's one of the things. But can I tell you the other thing that is going to sound like the weirdest nitpick?
What bothers you about this?
Her sleeve.
Oh,
Why is her sleeve so fucking big?
It's a bouquet, Dallas. She got a big poofy bouquet sleeve. Yeah. It's
ugly.
Well, yeah, it's like bright orange. I don't agree with the color comp on it, but no, I'm pretty sure the idea is that it's got a big cone.
I'll say this. Out of, like, unlike the other two, I don't really hate this art. But I just don't like it.
I will say composition-wise, I'm like, I don't think this is the best angle this could be shot at. Like, I don't know what's going on with, like, both her arms.
She doing, like, the fucking, like, JoJo pose across arms?
It looks kind of like she's doing the fucking, like, you know, rolling up her sleeve on her other arm, but I can't tell. So yeah, it's a little weird. I feel like the artist wanted to make sure to draw the drill.
I definitely don't have that strong of a hate of this. I just don't like it. I think that's the best.
Like, I think parts are okay. Like, her head bit is okay. What's up?
The one thing that's freaking me out about this design is just all the ivy thorns coming out of her. Like, if that wasn't there, I'd be like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, the barbed wire stuff is not great.
Yeah, I mean, that detail is supposed to be there, obviously, because I think they're trying to show, like, again, kind of like fighter sheet. Her gimmick is the barbed wire. But it's like...
Oh, area denial, I see.
Asymmetrical and, like, looped everywhere, and I don't know where it's attached to, and it's just, like...
It
gives me fucking... Like I said, as a person who's lived with headphones for many years and other cables, just looking at these barbed wire loops just gives me agita. I'm just like, I want to start getting in there and, like, undoing these knots. You are going to get fucking caught on a doorknob, lady, and it's going to suck.
It's going to get caught in her drill, and she's just going to spin around like an idiot.
She has a special team dedicated to just like, okay, undo,
yeah.
Unravel.
I think a lot of the problem I have with this art is color and texture.
Yeah, I get what they're going for. I'm not a huge fan of her color scheme. Like, the background would be kind of dynamic and cool, but it feels like it's too many bright colors.
It's too 80s.
I mean, it's called Disc Coliseum, so that might be what they're going for, but I don't know. Anyway, so also, by the way, again, you'd never get that from this color scheme, but this is a wind plant. Wind plant, level 8.
Turbines.
2400 attack, 2500 defense. Each of the following effects once per turn. 1, target a Therian or plant, special summon, and equip. 2, send 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard, add a Therian spell trap from your deck to your hand. Therian monsters gain 700 attack and can use the second effect. So yeah, in a Therion deck, she's good. Also, you can use it, not that you super need to, but if you really want to get that aforementioned whatchamacallit, Regulus negate, you can use, Lily, pitch a card, search Disc Coliseum, activate Disc Coliseum, add Regulus.
Yeah, but
Get it to the
really what
graveyard.
this card reads is you get to activate Lone Fire Blossom twice.
Oh no.
That's what this card reads.
Yeah, there's a few moves you got out there.
Or Rika Princess.
Yeah. She got some fun stacks.
Very good.
And she's an 8 as well. That I think, Rika and there's some other plant-related 8 monsters as well. Those have always been, on the edge of being good. So I think, again, Konami very deliberately designed this one.
8 is a theme in Plant.
Yeah.
Unironically.
So I think they knew what they were doing. But, in a more useful way.
Remember how I said I had no ill will feelings towards the art of this card?
You've changed?
Oh no.
No, it's the next one.
card I have many feelings. All of which are ill.
So this is Therion Reaper Foom.
Fucking hate this card.
So weirdly enough, when I look at this, I was reminded of something else, which is so Loth, have you watched Revice before?
No, I haven't watched Kamen Rider Revice.
Yeah, because this reminds me of one of the writers in that.
Interesting. This is just a boss from Mega Man ZX.
Also that too.
Hold on. Does she have fish-shaped funnels?
Yes.
Yes.
Which are attached via cables. I think the number one thing about this that is throwing me off is angles, space. So
She's also just covered in random crap.
I mean, she's not really covered in random crap. She's not actually got that many things. She has extra details that they do. All of the ladies have the weird color-coded uniboob thing. That clearly means something thematically that I don't know and don't care for. Though I would like to point out this robot lady has a very well-defined navel. Also, angles. Her head is this way. Her shoulders that way. Her navel that way.
This is prime 70s comic book cover.
This
pose.
woman has no spine.
Yes, no,
She's
her
a robot.
spine is bendable.
It's because she's a freaky fish person?
Well, she is
I
an aqua, so
guess.
yes, technically. She
No,
might just be all goo inside.
This,
But,
this is like the guy who traces porn out.
There's a lot of weird angles I don't like about this. Never mind the
Ralph
fact that,
Liefeld?
No, he just doesn't know the concept of how much musculature someone should
No,
have.
I was joking.
He doesn't
when
trace,
he
he's
said-
just bad.
I'm wondering, should she be vertical, rotated around? That work for the fin funnels because now they're just shooting in the air, but it makes the rest of her make a lot more sense. I feel like the artist did a rotate mid drawing.
Unfortunately,
Jeez.
one of those things doesn't exist, but eels do have spines.
Yeah. So yeah, it's weird. Also, I think they're supposed to be attached to those little things on her hips, but the two weird fish funnels don't line up.
Also, why is one of them so close and compact to her, and the other one just seems to be going off and fuck knows where?
Well, it's because, like I said, one is coming out on this side, the top side, and going behind her back. The other's coming out the bottom side and going around front. They got some
It looks
decent length
so
to them.
bad.
What is this energy fish scale
That I
Yeah,
also
I
don't
guess.
know. They I think they were trying to let you know it's a girl because she's got hair. They're scales.
There's so many bad
peacocks.
choices in this art.
I also got to be honest. I also don't like the color comp on this. The fucking volcano
No.
orange background with her being
Yeah.
blue like this.
Her color composition is not the problem, it's the background.
It's a little too bright. And I gotta be honest, I don't like that she's got an empty hand. She's got a weird shield arm in her fin funnels, but then she's just got her right hand just out there. Woo. It's weird. It's a weird design.
This is one of the worst arts I've seen in a while, in my opinion.
It gives me a subtle vibes that I do not like. I just look at this and I go like, that's a little weird. That's also weird.
This is like peak. I've said it before, but this is just peak 70s comic cover of like.
How does her
The
tail
art
work?
isn't the problem. It's what you've done with this pose
The
has
joint
ruined
goes the other
art.
way completely. What the fuck? I feel like
Yeah,
the art.
no, the
Okay,
pose
I
ruins
gotta
the
look up if there's concept art of this lady. I know there's concept art of like the Empress, and I think also maybe of Rose. But like, I feel like the artist drew a concept art of this and really, really liked all the design elements they came up with. But when the time came to fit her onto a piece of cardboard, they had to cram it all into frame to make it fit. Like, literally, her tail does an S curve. It should not do that, probably. It's weird.
Yeah, this art.
Also, I want to say, this one's very funny. There's probably, like, I don't know if there's an official way that they, like, said somewhere, but there's, like, 3 different ways to translate this card's name. So this is Ripa Famu, but it could be Ripa, because it's a long I-P sound in Japanese. But also, I saw that officially jotted down as Leaper. So, like, is she Ripper, Leaper, or Reaper? I don't fucking know. Anyway, this is a level 7 water aqua, 1400 attack, 2500 defense.
I thought I found another problem, but it's just, again, a problem with the dumbass angles.
The angles.
Oh, no, I do have another problem. Why doesn't she have armor on her other arm?
Well, it's just her arm's not doing anything, like I said. It's
hate this
either
art.
she's got a shoulder cloak or that's her fish hair. I don't know. This is, honestly, a lot of this could be solved if we did actually have concept art, but I don't think there is. They only do it for like a couple monsters each block.
Sorry.
1400 defense, 1400 attack, sorry, 2500 defense. You can use the following effects once per turn. Target a Therion or Aqua. Special summon this card from your hand if you do equip. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, target a Therion card in your spell and trap zone. And one card your opponent controls, return to the hand. If you blah blah gains 500 attack and stuff. So, ostensibly, Reaper is a bounce. That should be fine, but she is only during your opponent's turn a bounce. Which is okay. But then you're stuck with guys who don't have their effects anymore. Because, you know, it's only during your spell and trap zone. And unfortunately, I don't think she really adds a lot to a generic Aqua deck. So, yeah. Very, very medium. Again, Konami is trying. They have, like, searchers. They have bounces, banishes, negates. But it just doesn't add up to enough. Anyway.
Now we get to talk about another art I hate. For different reasons.
You don't like, what if King was dark? It's Therion Irregular. It's Regulus, but irregular. Do you get it? Chat, do you get it? Tell me you get the joke. It's irregular. He's Regulus, but irregular.
I thought it was like his super mode or some shit.
I mean, technically, yes, but it's like, he's taken over by the Sprite energy. After Sargus beats his ass up, he gets juiced on the Sprite energy, and it's him. It's the evil him. I don't know if the sprites are necessarily evil, but they are in our protagonist's way. For some
I don't think they're evil. They're more
undisclosed
just, like,
reason.
Power.
They're the
Incarnate.
administrators of the Colosseum, so I guess that, like, yeah, is just kind of out there. Anyway, yeah, it's just, this is just Regulus hopped up on Sprite juice. He's all sparky now instead of fiery. He's a sparky boy. There's not, I see that none of you really have anything to add either.
I mean, I don't like this art because it ruins the one interesting thing about Regulus, which was his, like, color scheme and design, and just makes him generic.
I mean, he's like, black, gold, and purple. That's okay.
I mean, yeah, but
I do kind of like the extra effort to draw, like, his mane being, like, lightning now, and his lightning
Oh, no, that's
claws, and also
neat,
his lightning
but-
jaw. I do kind of agree that I don't, it's there's some neat concept in this, but it doesn't really do a whole lot for Regulus's design, because it is just Regulus again. But dark.
Yeah, no, sorry. It was just I was flabbergasted because Zed was so on point, I was just looked at this guy and went, "This is just a Digimon."
This is a Digimon.
I mean, no, this is literally a Digimon.
So hold on, this is Regulus again?
Yeah, it's Regulus.
I mean, that's what I said. Lost. Didn't you get it? He's Therion Irregular. It's his name. Irregular. Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it?
It's a pun.
Therion zu Irregular. Anyway, this is a dark machine level 10, and thus would actually be good for something, except he fucking isn't. You can target
his effect is poopy.
You can target it to 3 Therion monsters in your graveyard, special summon them. Summon this card from your hand if you do equip all 3 of them. You can discard an Endless Engine aggro system to draw cards your opponent controls. That's a really shitty effect, by the way. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can special summon this card, then equip the monster is equipped to. You can use each effect irregular once per turn. So, I understand what they're going for. He's got 1600 attack and 2800 defense. The idea is you equip 3 Therions to him, and then he gets, 2100 attack, because they all add 700. And all gets their effects. It's just really not worth it. Like,
really isn't.
The design goal is to give Therions an actual boss who actually wins the game. It doesn't really do that.
It's also a main deck monster, and Therions are not that great at searching out this guy.
Yeah, you need to have him in hand. They don't have a monster searcher, I don't think, other than their field spell, which obviously you might need to search for another Therion, because the problem Therion, I think, has is if you're playing pure Therions, and it's turn 1, you're going first, probably, or maybe it's turn 2, maybe you're blind seconding, but anyway, you need Therions to get in your graveyard to do this. How do you do that? You need to activate a lot of effects, which means you need to have those in your hand, and not this guy. But like another monster effect search.
I think it's also safe to say for Yu-Gi-Oh! Boss Monster, that effect is kind of not enough.
Yeah, I mean, no, like literally, if you're blind seconding, just play Lightning Storm.
Or just play a in Therion. Like, he's not even played in Therion decks. Just play like level 8 XEs. Like, play Hope Harbinger. Play the Spriggan dude. Play.
Hey, also, you know what clears your opponent's board and wins you the game a lot easier, and probably uses just as many cards? Access code Talker.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
What?
Oh, bad things are happening. Sorry.
I'm guessing Dallas is getting a shit wrecked in Darkest Dungeon 2.
I just got a giant ominous message about my wagon that says the mountain shudders.
Like,
Not a good thing to
what
hear.
did that do?
Not a good thing, especially when one of the main things in Darkest Dungeon 2 is a
Getting
mountain.
to the mountain. That's where the act bosses are. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I fucked up my pathing, and now the boss has 20% extra health.
That's for the
If
bad.
I get to it.
Yep. Well, I can only hope Dallas hasn't put me in yet, so that way I'm not dead.
I'm probably
RIP
already
me.
dead.
But yeah, no, like,
you're
it's
very-
just as I
Well,
was
you
saying,
are
like
all
with
already
Therion Irregular, like, if you're gonna go to the trouble of cycling through like 4 Therion monsters, just leave all 4 of them on the board. Make access code.
Yeah.
Go into access code Talker. You can do it. That also clears your whole ass opponent's board usually and wins the game. Anyway, this is Gigantic Champion Sargass. So this is like our bridge between the big boy Therions and also the Springans.
Yeah, remember when I talked
Yes.
about the level 8 Springin XEs? Is this boy?
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Very good.
This is what I was wanting to mention when we did Springans, and I was like, and then Omega corrected me by saying, nope, not yet.
Yes. 1, because we have to talk about the side arc. Also, 2, technically, this guy is not a Springan. Like, it does have interplay with them, but he himself does not count as a Springan Xyz monster. So, this is the time to talk about him. But he's pretty cool.
But lore-wise, he is a Springin.
Yes, it's Sargass, yeah. It's after Sargass defeats Regulus, he gets the champion belt and is king of the ring.
Yes.
He actually kind of becomes like the reason, like, I think Spriggans were seen as a rogue option because of him and what he basically made the other cards actually do.
Yeah,
more.
this gives Springan a even spicier payoff.
Like, if you would actually have like a pure win con card, actually, is the weird thing with it.
But yeah, he's a pretty solid boy. Art-wise, I like him.
Well, he's also a generic.
He's pretty juiced up. I like a lot of his details. He's still got missile punch fists. He's got giant rocket boosters on his back because he's
Actually,
Sargus.
no, like, killing in the chest, right. I think he actually did take a bunch of, like, Regulus's bits and put him on himself.
Yeah, I think technically that is true as well. Because
Your
you can
bits,
see,
my bits.
you can see from Irregular that he is like cracked and broken up. Like parts of his body are chunked off. And it makes perfect sense because of how the Springans work. But yeah, no, I like him a lot. He's got he gets a little bit close to the Utopia Sona vibes, but I think he's still got enough of that Springan spice.
Yeah, but I mean, like for the Springans, like this card art works.
Yeah.
The
What do you guys
Springans are
call-
already kind of goofy.
What are you guys talking about? He just basically turned into another form of, like, War Greymon.
I mean, yeah. I can't... You're not wrong, but I don't think you're correct either.
Just because
Let me
you're
look
correct
it up.
doesn't mean that you're right.
No, he's
There
more
is-
Gallantmon than War Greymon, I would argue.
I mean,
Ah,
yeah,
here we go.
that head is definitely Gallantmon Crimson mode, yes.
Oh, no, yeah, I can see that. I can tell you
Which
that.
is a shame because Gallantmon Crimson mode is the uglier one.
One of the ones I was thinking of
I
is
know he's
this.
I know he's red and I like that better, but I always thought Crimson mode was a lot goofier
Nope,
than just
nope.
regular Gallantmon.
I was about to post into Crow General.
That'll
Something
confuse the
is
fuck out of Lucky and poor Altar.
It's just like, what?
Blitz Greymon. Well, there's a Greymon for every occasion.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
The-
Greymon
the reason
was
why
a,
this-
was
Oh,
it?
sorry.
Greymon a protagonist in like 3 different series.
Yes.
Well, yeah, he's
But
like
what
I'm pretty
I-
sure he's the original like mascot type boy, right?
What I'm aware of is that this guy exists, so that there's a different Garurumon that exists. That basically they make an Omnimon that's the reverse. Greymon's the gun, Garurumon's the sword. That's why that guy exists.
But yeah, so Champion Sargass is a Fire Machine 8 XC, 2800 attack, 1500 defense. He is, as stated, generic, just 2 or more level 8 monsters. Once returned, you can also XC summon Gigantic Champion Sargass by using 1 Springan's XC monster you control. Transfer materials to this card. So he is also a like free rank up Zeus type shit for either of your Springan XC monsters can just go into this guy. While this card has material, you can add 1 Springans or Therian card from your deck to your hand. If a material is detached from a monster on the field, except during the damage step, target 1 card in the field, destroy it, or return it to hand. You can use this effect of Gigantic Champion Sargass once per turn. And yes, as Zach said, this is good. This actually makes like Springans rogue because they give you a free searcher, and if you detach, which is kind of a thing you do in Springan, you get to just pop or bounce a card, which is very spicy.
Okay, apologies. I was thinking of the wrong Greymon. This is the one I'm thinking of. That looks a lot like this guy.
Oh yeah, Kaiser Greymon. Yeah, that also works.
Oh yeah, no, that's fair.
I was
Is
like,
that
this
from
color
the
scheme
fifth-
reminds me
is
of
that-
something.
Is that from the 5th season?
That's from 4, I'm pretty sure.
I believe it's from
No,
4.
4 is
yes.
the one where they turned into the Digimon.
Yes.
Yes,
no.
this is from 4.
That's why I say this is from 4.
Oh, it is from 4, right. I forgot.
Also, so was
Just-
probably the Black Lion Digimon everybody was thinking of with Irregular. That was the Digidestined
No,
of
'cause,
Dark. His
Oh,
human
yeah,
form
that-
was
that
a
boy.
Black Lion boy.
No,
God,
there was no
4 was so
Greymon
confusing.
in Season 4. Wasn't there?
Yes, he
there
becomes
was a
Greymon
Goonie
because
Mon.
they do things.
Burning Greymon. And then he has the one where he combines both beast and human form into Kaiser Greymon.
And only, by the way, only the fire and the light kid do that. None of the other kids get to do that.
And then they all combine together at the very end to make Susano Omon.
Yes.
To be fair, I do like Digimon Season 4, mostly because I think it's the season of an anime in general where the protagonists just get shit on for the entire anime.
They do basically. I mean, you want to talk about certain kinds of plot lines? It's very specific. Those guys basically lose I mean, they still win victories, but they basically lose the entire time. And I'm pretty sure the digital world does end up being sucked into a black hole until even after they form Susanoo Amon. It's just the power of friendship and love and stuff, and 10 magic Digimon statues manages to defeat the bad guy.
Yep.
But a lot of weird shit happens. Including the fact that one of the guy's twin brothers he's dead already. He's a ghost.
I think that's why I didn't recognize it. That's not
That's
what
my
it's
favorite
called
character.
in English.
Yeah, no, this is a version of Cyber Sleuth that also has the different, quote-unquote, Japanese translations.
Yeah, it's called Emperor Greymon.
Makes sense.
Because Kaiser is
Germanic.
unfortunate.
I don't remember being familiar enough with Digimon to for sure know, but that sounds about right. Architect saying there's only two protagonists that matter in any given season. This is your problem when you come up with like 10 kids that we need to care about.
That's not technically true. No one fucking mattered in season 2.
Except the old
One of the main
cast.
characters in season 3 was an antagonist.
But yeah, Sargass is real good. Strictly speaking, I would say you would probably run because he is also an 8. You would run Regulus in a Springen deck because you can search him with Sark anyway. And that does give you a negate, which is funny. But yeah, it's a very solid card that makes a lot of stuff happen. There's only one card art of the spell traps I want to show, but we can really mention some of the others. Unfortunately, most of them are very generic and just, are them doing stuff. But this one is great. This is Therion, stand up!
Hold on,
Never
sorry,
give
I just
up.
want to say something. Is that a pun that in saying tame is 4 kids mattered? So we could say 4 kids dumb?
No, that one was definitely not done by 4 kids, because that's the one where a girl got possessed by Satan.
Yeah, I don't
not
remember
Digimon
who.
Satan.
So I actually just really like that this art is just it's this fucking kid yelling stand up.
Yeah, basically, this is Sargaz and Regulus are showing off, and Sargaz is almost down, and Kit's just like, no, stand up.
And Regulus is doing his fucking poses in the background.
Yeah, Regulus is
gotta make
posing
it
to
a
the
show.
crowd, and Sargaz is just like, whoa.
I like he's still got the necklace from, what was it, one of the looting sessions.
Yeah. I also like that Kit obviously been a little beaten up by her time in the volcano, but she's got the fucking towel like she's the traitor. Rock, you gotta stand up, Rock. No, it's
yeah,
great.
fucking Saban. Yeah, that asshole.
Just the person who wrote Digimon Season 3 also wrote notable kids anime like Serial Experiments Lane and Hellsing.
Nice.
God.
Hellsing TV, so don't give him too much credit.
Okay, fair enough.
But still,
No, we're ballparking.
this guy.
But yeah, Therion, stand up. Which, by the way, doesn't have an exclamation point in Japanese, though it is pronounced Serion's stand up. But yeah, Therion, stand up. It's a normal trap. Target a Therion monster in your graveyard, special summon it, equip a Therion from your hand or graveyard to it. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Target 2 Therion monsters, one in your field and one in your graveyard. Equip the monster from your graveyard to that other monster you control. So, in Therion, a perfectly okay trap card. It lets you re-equip your guys. You can't, use a certain effect more than once per turn, but there's still, utility to reset up your guys.
Oh, also, I just have to say, he's a giant shithead. No one should be a fan of him as a person. He's an absolute maniac.
Let's see. I think I used...
Oh, that's
did
what
I
it
use
was.
Therion Charge for the thumbnail? I think I might have. Yeah, I did.
This is what I was thinking of.
Therion Charge is a normal spell card. It's the thumbnail. It just shows Yul and Reaper charging at Sargaz, and obviously if they lose. Therion Charge says send a Therion card, except Therion Charge, or an Endless Engine Agito system from your hand, or face a spell traps under the graveyard. Draw 2 cards. You can activate Charge once per turn. It's okay. Discard a Therion or an aggro to draw 2. It's alright. I assume you would run it, if only because why wouldn't you run Pot of Greed? But you never know with Yu-Gi-Oh! Players.
It's hard to say sometimes.
So let's see.
I think the biggest thing is just if it's worth it or not. Fun fact, he also wrote Big O.
I mean, you need a... Dallas, we're beyond caring about this.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
You do need Therions in your graveyard anyway, so pitching 1 to start to draw 2 more is not awful. Because you can't... literally none of these cards are normal summonable in Therion. I mean, no, or without tributes, so you need stuff to get started. You either need external support cards to summon them, or you need cards in graveyard to target to summon them. Therion Cross... I guess I can pull up this card art. I should, It's not super informative. It's just Regulus and Sargeis punching each other, but, you know, people might like to look at it. It's pretty derpy. They're doing, like, the anime squish face.
The face.
Yeah.
It's very anime.
Yeah, it's very cartoony.
There's really energy
Very
to it.
cross counter.
I mean, yeah, called Therian Cross, so. It's a normal trap. It says when your opponent activates a monster effect while you control a Therian monster, you can activate one of these effects, negate that effect, banish that monster. If you have aggro in your graveyard, do both. Negate, then banish. You only activate Cross once per turn. I think Cross would be a great card if it was a counter trap. It is a normal trap. It's still an okay card because
I
it
mean,
is
you
your.
still run it because
Yeah.
it's good.
It's still all right. It is kind of. I mean, it's not any worse for any archetype. Omni negate. And it's also. This is not technically an Omni. It's monster effects only, but still, it's a negate. It's good. But negate or banish is both silly. If you can do both, that's pretty good. But it does require you to have Argyro in grave. Again, not the worst circumstance, but very silly archetype play. Let's see, we already talked about... Yeah, it's literally it. I think this is also the other problem with Therions. They have 4 spell traps. It's literally just cross, disco, and stand-up.
Yeah. And the dude. The dude with eyes.
Oh, yeah, Aiguro. Yeah, that's not a archetype card, but yeah, you'd play that, because so all your deck works around it. But yeah, it's weird. It's a weird deck.
It's like Therion is a cool concept, and I hope they get fleshed out more.
Yeah, like I said, I like what they're about, which is just they work as both as an archetype and also as a weird engine thing. If Konami really wants to just limit themselves to the theme and only do the other remaining, like, 6 constellations, there's so much you could do there. I don't know, Pisces, you could do a fish-themed one, you know? Because Reaper is an Aqua, you know? There's, let's see. You could do Libra or Virgo as, like, a spellcaster. All kinds of shit. Hell, it doesn't even have to make sense. They made Bull a warrior as opposed to a beast warrior. We got flexibility here. There's more than 13 types in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
Sorry, I was distracted because I was just jumping through random shit on the Digimon wiki and finding some really dumb ones.
Well, we'll save that for a different silly fail portrayal some other
Dude,
day.
we need to do Fail Portrayal Digimon. There is so much.
We probably
Sorry.
We'll have to figure that out, because that'd be a whole series this year.
I'll share this with you guys here, just quickly. Just this one I came across. And then I'll call it there for this. But look at this boy when he shows up. This tiny, tiny boy.
I have a slowly blinked thrice.
I never noticed you had fucking jet boots.
Oh, yeah. So I don't actually remember if we've talked about Springen's kit before. I don't think we have.
I think you wanted to keep it for when we got to this.
Yes. Because actual Springen's kit is definitely supposed to be, like, we're coming back from the Sprite adventure.
She's wearing, actually, I think she's wearing one of the Sprites. I think she actually is wearing one of the Sprites' jackets.
Yeah, she's got a cool coat now. She's also got, like, a blue energy tank like a lot of the Therians had.
She collects
so...
a bunch of the RGO energy. She has a palm gun that also can use the whole energy.
I mean, I don't know if it's a palm gun. I think it's more like a
or a
normal
gauntlet.
cannon. She does have a punch glove. Yeah, she's got some stuff going on. There's lots of fireworks and things going on.
She has a lot of materials there.
She's flying through the Great Desert.
The funny thing is, despite being called Springen's kit, this is really branded kit. Except she can't be branded because that's lore-wise not how it works. But yeah. I mean, I love this card art. This is, she's got her little hair tie that's bright blue. She's got her fucking sunglasses. She's winking like a little gremlin she is.
Well, everyone's been having a terrible time if a kid's just been having...
A kid just found a pair of aviator sunglasses and is, doing sick kick flips on air. And is going to build...
a character that is in the wrong anime.
And she's gonna appear wearing her sunglasses, flying a jet plane dragon later.
This is who is going to save the story, I believe.
Not entirely, but Kit and Sargass both show up at an important moment.
Okay.
But yeah, no. Kit's just living her best life, y'all. I don't actually know if the card art for the Digimon card game is that bad, but we could also do that. The actual Digimon card game seems interesting. I just don't have time to pick it up, but it seems like they got cool stuff going on.
It's a very complicated game, I would say.
I remember playing the Digimon card game video game as a kid.
This one will be separate because this is, I think, this version of the card game we're thinking of is new.
Yeah. It
Oh,
was based
yeah,
off
you're
the
thinking-
Digimon World 3 card game that video game was.
That's the one I've played. The game was complicated. I say that as a Magic player.
Gremlin energy. So Springen's
Yeah.
Kit is a Dark Beast, level 4. She has 1700 attack now. If you have a fusion monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz as material on your field or in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, add to your hand one of your branded spell traps that is banished or in your deck or graveyard. Then place one card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. You can use each effective Kit once per turn. So yeah, as you would expect from Kit, you know, is the secret sauce, the lube that keeps the Albaz engine running, making sure that they don't fuck up and lose the whole world. She's very important, yes, because she's a normal, she's a special.
Albaz and Ecclesia have one brain cell between them, and Kit owns it.
I mean, considering that Kit puts them in their little, like, flying honeymoon car later, like, yeah. I feel safe saying that Kit is responsible for a lot of their shenanigans actually working out. Keep in mind, Kit wasn't with them at Sword Soul Mountain. And they fucking lost that one. Kit would have seen a Luber had just pulled out her gat, clocked him. Bang.
You would have seen a Luber monologuing like, "Your power is mine," and just bang.
Yeah.
You gonna shoot me? Yes.
Yeah.
I
And
didn't
I'll
do
it
much, but
again.
I didn't do much, but I
tried.
hated it.
I mean, what's a Luber's attack? As a Luber?
Which one?
1800? Gesture of Despia is 1800.
So he's just big enough to get over
And I
Springen's
think
Kit.
that's the same thing of Bestial too.
But yeah, no.
Her Bestial Luber's not good.
He's a weird guy. But yeah, so as you can read from her effect text, again, not a very good Springen's card, though she is a level 4, so that works for some of their Xyz summons. But as a Albaz branded card, very good. She is a free special if you already have a Fusion Boy on the board. On normal, she adds any branded spell trap that's banished, graveyard, or deck. You know, so very solid. Very, very good card. You've probably seen her a lot. She also gets them back from banished, so if you need to recycle that, you know, that branded in red, that branded fusion if it got banished by somebody trying to get rid of it, you got a lot of stuff you can do. Very solid card. Which makes sense, because Kit is important. But yeah, that brings us to the end of our saga today. That means next time we will probably do Sprite
finale?
and Bestial.
I know, Sprite Bestial, and then the finale.
And yeah, the last one will be just cleaning up all of the Weird Boy extra cards that they added, because there are a lot of those.
I feel like
The Battle of Goganda.
Suggestion for the name for that one is just Battle from the Ashes.
I might just call it the Battle of Goganda, but we'll see.
Okay.
But yeah, I hope your psyches are all right, because I've been blasting the Gold Saucer theme at you for like an hour. Hopefully you're all mentally okay. Anyway, I'm going to go now and finish Lost Belt 6 Part 3. I got right up to the part where...
Moth, don't worry. You're
I got
doing
just to
better
the
than I
part
am.
before all of the heinous boss battles start. So I did, you know, what
Best of luck.
section-wise is like 50 or 60% of the work, but actual doing the shit wise is like none of the work. All the fights
I
before
should
this were
probably
fucking baby mode.
finish Lost Belt 4.
Yeah, you should probably do that at some point, especially if you're gonna do your Oberon summons. Anyway, make sure to
Alright,
give us a
you can
like,
still
comment, and
summon it.
subscribe. And let me check the poll real quick. I think Gaia was winning, but it might have changed up in the past few days.
I'm not surprised.
Oh, yay. We get to talk about Gaia if it wins.
Yes, it is
all right.
almost. So, chat, there are 10 votes total, and there's still like a while going. The
Gaia has
poll
8.
will go for a little bit. Gaia has 50% of the votes. Spiral is in second place with 40, and Gimmick Puppets takes the third place with 10%. Inzector and Tenyi currently have 0 votes. So it's actually pretty close, but Gaia does have a strong stand-up right now.
Well, to answer your question, I would argue that other than Bounty Hunter, who has a gimmick that makes him overpowered for a reason, Jester's the second best hero in the game.
Yeah,
I think it's Man-at-Arms, Jester, Flagellant are probably the 3 best. And Bounty Hunter, but literally you can hire Bounty Hunter for 1 leg. So
No, Gaia
he's
does not.
designed to be
Well,
overpowered.
actually, Gaia might include Blackluster Soldier. It might.
It's some cards mention it, but I don't know if it's like
Because
part of the
there's
archetype.
enough. I mean, I'll double check when I do it up, but
There's a field spell connection with Chaos Gateway.
Well, no, there's also some cards that mention the others.
But
Yeah.
and it makes sense. But there are also a lot of completely unrelated to Gaia standalone, like Blackluster Soldier retrains and supports, like
We
synthesis.
might
super
go
synthesis
over
and
the
shit.
like 2 Blackluster Soldier cards that mention Gaia.
Like I said, if that wins, when I'm putting together the list, I will cross reference all that stuff.
Yeah, guys, come on, let me win. Let me win the failed betrayal vote 2 times in a row.
Honestly, I feel like
We'll see what
it's the
happens.
weird thing of everyone's just been trained to only
I
want
mean,
DM
no.
shit.
Zed, that's not entirely correct. I mean, yes, that kind of happened in the anime, but then we should also do Karibo, because Karibo is the other star of Blackluster Soldier.
There's so many Karibos, yeah.
That would also be a
We're
funny
not
one
doing
to do later.
Karibo. I will die.
Well, that'll be an option at some point.
But no, like, saying that Blackluster Soldier is upgraded Gaia, it kind of, sort of. Yugi uses Gaia and Karibo as the original 2 materials to ritual summon Chaos Soldier, but I would argue Blackluster Soldier is much more of a Chaos monster, because he's originally called Chaos Soldier in...
I actually like
OCG,
the art.
I
I,
don't know
actually like a
why.
lot of the other cards because of that stuff.
Gaia does a lot of his own thing, mostly involving fusing
Like
him with
the
more
art
and
for
more
Blackluster
dragons.
Soldier, I have one problem with Blackluster Soldier's art. Is that it doesn't fucking change over the 50 cards that are Blackluster Soldiers. They're the goddamn same. Small variations.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's I think
Black.
Blackluster Soldier is a nostalgia thing, but Gaia already had retrains as it was. Anyway, we don't know who's gonna win the poll. I'll leave you guys with that. We'll see what happens. You can join us on Patreon at the 5 and up level. Also consider, liking this video, commenting, subscribing, joining our channel
Zed
memberships.
brings up a good point. I know what my next one's gonna be.
Of course. Hey, listen. That was a fail. Not a fail betrayal. A pathetic aesthetic they did once, and it was pretty funny because there are a lot of Karibos. I don't even know if that included all the other like Kariba, Karibang,
Kariba.
whatever.
Baron.
Curry Bandit, all the 5 different Curry Bandits and like the horned one.
Yes,
What
Curry
happened?
Babylon.
Curry Ghosts.
Anyway, that's all, chat. See you later. Night, everybody.
I